This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Policy scholarship. This is the knowledge you can't get in colleges. If you read from the Bible, obey the commandment and know who your mother and father is. Tune in to Sinaitic cause he the protector of the gods. I'm talking about Dr. Benjamin, Yusuf, Yacanan, and John. We got the scale of my art. If he light as a feather, let's go and weigh his heart. I am the shrine of Ptah. If you can say I am, better recognize a god. All I see is pseudos and frauds. Kudos to my dogs. Judo for you frogs. I think it's time to hop off the environment. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough.
Will survive. Comedic knowledge on the rise. Raising consciousness divine. To the truth we subscribe. Jabari leading the way. Shaka almost don't play. Sonetta to open the gates. And up and banging a day. It's a family for the culture. Rebuking all you vultures. Self's environment full of soldiers. Unlock your mind, they'll expose you. HOK is the squad. Debating the truth is a nod. Watch where you step in the pod. Or they'll tear you apart.
Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough. 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 Oh, you didn't know? This environment tough.
This environment is tough. And I am Napashada. Peace to the darkest minds of the light. Assalamu alaikum, hotep, namaste, jambo, shalom, shalom. All the greetings of love and light. Peace to Afu Nation, Lady Kier, and her husband, Devin. Thank you for those great tunes, always. Peace to Caleb. So, I have some questions. I dropped the link. I want to see if I'm wrong. See, some things are hard to face, and some things are very hard to admit. As a people, you know, we have always gotten the short end of the stick, and we always built houses out of the short end of the stick. But we need to talk. Tell me if I'm wrong. I dropped the link. I'm going to see who comes in and at least answer this question. Is it untrue for me to say that a large part of Black culture, if not, dare I say, the foundation of us coming here, a large part of our culture is a promotion of and an acceptance of, probably maybe we tolerate violence. Shout out to Fatty and his panel today. I want to say thank you for letting me be part of the conversation. However, there were some tough things that I had to say about the Cincinnati brawl. And the fact that we are not averse or we're not unfamiliar with using violence as a people. Now, when people come in and say, well, everybody does violence, I know that. I know that. But I'm talking about the unique, peculiar foundation of violence in itself that is of the Black progeny of African slaves. Why is it so hard? Or why does it actually there were a couple people, not a couple, a significant amount of people, Black men in particular, who were triggered by me making that statement. Now, I remember back in the last year, Princella, or was it the year before, Princella was going to debate me. And she ran because she saw, oh, well, I don't think I want to debate her. But we were going to debate, can the Black man love? And my position was, of course, the Black man can love. Her position was he was incapable. Why? Because she was in her feelings realizing a truth, stay with me, realizing a truth that men in general are violent, but realizing a truth that males are violent. And then we go into this research of Dr. Joy DeGruy about post-traumatic slave syndrome, and we see that Black men, especially, as well as Black women, are exceptionally violent compared to, let's say, the Chinese. Now, can I say that also about Native Americans? I sure can. Why? Because they also have epigenetic trauma. And that trauma has a lot of violence. I mean, that trauma is caused by a history of a lot of violence. However, the travesty that has been done to Black people in the history, centuries and centuries and centuries, centuries and centuries and centuries. Yeah, that's about right. Surpasses any type of trauma that the Native Americans, which was their trauma. I'm not minimalizing their trauma, but their trauma, and it's horrific. But the trauma that the progeny, that Africans' ancestors and their descendants have endured is outrageous, to say the least. Now, if you look at that, and then you look at the systemic racism that continued, and the social constructs like Jim Crow and lynchings, you look at all of that. Poverty. You look at that and you say, are we shocked that there's an acceptance of violence? Because violence was something that has been a part of our history for a long time. Black men being lynched, Black women as well, being lynched, beaten, castrated, women having their children, their babies actually CUT out of their wombs, watching their sons and their husbands and their brothers be HANGED. I have to be careful. Yeah. So over time, of course, we're in the 21st century and it's 2025, but over time, how do you start to deal with that? How do you, as a person, as a Black male or a Black female, a Black man or a Black woman, how do you cope and process that? Well, how did we cope and process being called the N-word? We made it a part of us to try to somehow make it innocuous. And although it has become amongst us in certain contexts innocuous, it's still it's a very egregious thing to do, which is to call someone the N-word. Do we all do it? Well, many of us do it. Many of us won't admit it. But does that mean that it's still not something that comes from a bloody, violent place? It still does. And with our culture that we see now, the violence that we see now, drop your Addie, oh, I'm going to beat her, yeah, and I'm coming by, the guys, oh, why are you looking at my wife, pew, pew. That we turned into like just a part of our culture. Dare I say, which I didn't get to say over there in that panel, because they, for some reason, I bring that out of people. People like to gaslight me and act like I'm doing something wrong and I can't be quiet, because the facts are hard when they come from especially when they come from a woman. Okay, I'm gonna keep saying that. because I can't see why I'm not even afforded. And then I hear, oh, you talk too much. You talk too long. I'm just going to have to talk too long. And I'm just going to have to keep on. You're just going to have to keep on yelling over me and pretending that I'm the problem, because I'm going to tell the truth. Violence is a part of Black culture, and it's accepted, and it's also promoted. Rap promotes violence. Yeah, there's conscious rap, but that's not selling as many records. Biggie sold 10 times the amount of records as let's see, Professor X. Can I say that? KRS-One was dope. Not KRS-One, Public Enemy. My bad. Who was the one that said, walking in my big black boots, deeper than Atlantis? You remember that group? Anyway, you get what I'm saying. I can't even remember them. Peace, Ben Frank. No, I was told, oh, I must be promoting white supremacy, because that was coming from this one particular person who didn't understand. And shout out to everybody. It just because I'm on a polar opposite side of them doesn't mean I don't respect the build. I love these type of conversations. However, I want to hear from, let me see what Spiderface says. I want to hear from all of you. I want somebody to hit the panel, or a few people, and I want to hear from you. Does Black culture promote and even accept violence? Spiderface 666 says, so just because Bloods, Crips, GDs, Vice Lords, Latin Kings, and etc. are not government-funded organizations, what makes their violence less moral? That's a different conversation. I didn't see, and I appreciate your comment. I didn't say it was less moral or more moral. I didn't say it's I'm not saying Black people are innately violent. I'm not saying that Black people are innately savage, angry, violent beings. I just said slavery and all the violence, the Devil's Punch Bowl, Jim Crow, what else? Gang violence that's just out there, and nothing's done about it, really. Nothing's done about it. In fact, the government probably has a hand in that, but that's a different conversation. So I'm saying Black people, Black culture, correct me if I'm wrong. Just let me know. Is it the Black youth that is out of control with the GUNS and the unaliving with those of each other? Is there something called drill rap? I think drill means to like actually use a GUN, if I'm not mistaken, or like to just get people. I mean, is it a part of our culture that we're okay with? Beating our children, even. We make jokes about it all the time. Taking a belt or a switch and savagely beating children. So many children are being unalived accidentally by loving parents who I would say are loving parents, but they accidentally end up harming or unaliving their children from beatings. These and all this stuff about, well, Latinos do that. Hold on, let's stop. Stop. We are the ones who have survived slavery. We survive one thing, another thing's put in our face. So there's from slavery, we go from slavery to sharecropping and pinnage. And all respect and shout out to Dr. Antoinette Harrell. So we go from sharecropping to pinnage, and then we go to Jim Crow. We go from Jim Crow straight into, or contemporaneously or coinciding or going along with lynchings. Got the lynchings going on. Then we go into church burnings, which also all of it ties into lynchings. And then from there, we go into, even once there, the civil rights movement and all the rights that were enacted and the amendments, but we still are facing violence. And in the interim, we're not just facing the violence, we function as violent. Am I saying that we're all functioning as violent, like, hey, how you doing? Boom. But I want to talk to Black people, my people. Are Black people violent? Are we violent? Are we a violent culture? Are we? I know some people are angry right now hearing this. I know there's some people out there like, she's not really Black. Oh, yes, I'm very Black. In fact, my father, my grandfather, and my father were part of the civil rights movement. My grandfather marched right alongside Martin Luther King Jr. So did my grandmother. Okay, they helped make changes. So, see, when we have this conversation, though, thank you, DKAKAIRTS, thank you. When we have these conversations, the first thing people would say is, I can't believe she's saying this about our people. Hold. Dr. Joyce DeGree, who has been spending her entire life, says this about our people. And she loves us. She loves her people. She loves herself. She says the Black male is homicidal. See, remember the last stream I talked about? The homicidal Black male and the Black male who does things that on the surface are truly violent and homicidal. It is a self-destructive, there's a motive that's self-destructive, which is the epigenetic encoding of trauma itself, the destructive trauma. The Black woman who expresses herself with her hands, or, you know, and remember, by the way, violence isn't just physical. With her mouth, guilty as charged, ripping into the very souls of people, knowing how to cut deeply. So are we violent? Are we violent? We are not violent. Okay, well, Turtle Clan, you got to explain to me, and I appreciate that. Hit the link, please, because I want to hear from you. Can you explain why our young men are killing everybody that they love and that are around that look like them? Can you explain why they're doing this? And I need you to come in and explain without saying Hispanics do it too. I need you to leave all the other people alone and let's focus on our people. And let's see why. That's a cop-out. You know, you guys can hit the panel. That's a cop-out. We didn't kill each other after slavery ended in 1900s, 1960s. I did not say, this is what I mean, my friend. And I appreciate I like that Pisciat, like Picasso and Basquiat. I love that. And I like that, that little, your icon. But I didn't say that. I didn't say that I said that we have been consistently attacked, treated with violence, degraded, until, according to Dr. Joy DeGree, until we started to, epigenetically, it's in us, and those traumas, we first off literally embody the traumas, and then we cope in a society, in a construct of society, a social construct where we somehow work this violence to be a part of our culture. Fist fighting. I'm gonna drag her, I'm gonna beat his ass. Like, I know that there are cultures that have done that. Like there's the Irish, the Fighting Irish, but so we agree that they also have some type of epigenetic encoding. But with us, they did not experience centuries and centuries of nonstop violent affronts. So I want to hear from the brother. Thank you for hitting the panel. I appreciate you being so brave to come in, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you have to say. Peace.
Hey, hey, pretty good. How you doing? Peace. How are you?
Yes.
So I'm listening to what you were saying, the reasons and all the things you mentioned about hip hop, slavery. I'm listening to what you mentioned, and based off of when I hear you mention those things, I don't feel like we're violent. And this is why. Because I feel like we're reacting, right? We're not being violent as just to be violent. It's a reaction. So, for example, right, when you mention children beating our children, right, I would say we learned to beat our children because we were beaten as slaves. We learned that from slavery, right? I would say we learned violence because of of the violence that was placed onto us. So it's more of a it's more of a behavior. I wouldn't say a learned behavior, but it's more of a reaction to us, right? If you look at the beginning of hip hop, right, the what I would call like the golden era of hip hop, when you had KRS-One, Rakim, Big Daddy, they didn't even a lot of times they made broke songs, but they didn't curse. They made music instead that was talking about fight the power. Um, and Curtis when I wrote a song that was out there too. Yes, they had arguments and things and stuff, right? But in the beginning of hip hop, in the early parts of hip hop, there weren't any violence into it. The violence came with what we say is NWA, with gangster rap. And if you look at the people who, huh?
No, I'm saying yes. I'm agreeing. Before NWA.
Yeah, it was you didn't see that, right? And if you look at us in general, right? If you from what I see, right?
Hold on, I don't mean to cut your train of thought, but yes, thank you. I was going to say turning your camera. Go ahead. Go ahead. I just want to tell
No problem.
if you could leave your camera on, that'd be great. If you don't mind, brother. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Vibur.
You're fine. You're fine. So if you look at that, right? And then you look at the situation of poverty, right? Most of the things you see happen in the community, right? Like with drugs and stuff, is poverty, and poverty to me is the biggest problem because when you have people that are poor, they create all types of health issues, diabetes, depression, those things, and you create a situation where people are trying to don't have limited resources. So because they have limited resources, what are they doing? They're killing each other for the resources that they don't that other one might have. They kill and they steal from each other, right? So I think if we were left alone, right, to figure things out for ourselves, we would do a lot better. But we've never had that opportunity where we've able to do something and be left alone without somebody trying to benefit or profit from it.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And I don't know if you noticed, but I do. You agree with what I said. We are violent for a reason, but there is violence, and that just we are beyond violent. We're way more than just having that element of violence. But we must. What the reason I'm bringing this up is because, again, I'm going back to the work of Dr. Joy Degree, and then I'll move on to due diligence. Dr. Joy Degree says we're self-destructive, and I agree with her. And so you're right. The things you said, I agree with you. We're an amazing group of people. The way that we have still had a leadership position in things that we don't get credit for every day, but we're still thriving. Yet for me, we got to address the basic part of our culture that is accepting violence and almost promoting it. I appreciate you adding. I wanted to say due diligence. Can you turn in your camera and add? Thank you for joining us. What did you want to say about this? And then I could pass. Brother V. Brew, you can jump in whenever you like, but I want to hear from the brother due diligence. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was eating, so I didn't want to eat on camera.
Okay, I hear you. I don't blame you.
But I have to agree with you and the brother. It's one thing to say that I think the question that you're asking, are we inherently violent? You know what I'm saying? I think that's the question. But what the brother made the point was, why are we the way we are? Right. And I think you brought up some great examples. Epigenetics, right? So that's inherent stuff, inherited things, right, with your genetics. And also, we have this hip hop culture that's violent, right? And that's also socially constructed, right? And then you have the trauma from slavery, like the brother talked about, beating our kids and stuff like that. And then also we have the ghettos to where it breeds this type of behavior. So yes, you are correct that right now we have an aggressive, uh, disposition, but it's not inherent. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that Black people are
Right.
inherently violent people,
We're
but
not innate. Yeah.
yeah, but we have some trauma that we're dealing with. So I
Yeah.
think that's the issue. It's the trauma. I don't think Black people are violent people, but we need some therapy, man.
We do. And that I got goosebumps. See, this is the thing. We actually, because of melanin, and this is some people say pseudoscience, there's science backs up that melanin can give you, it's a calming effect. When you have extra melanin or a large abundance of melanin, you can be more less reactive, less aggressive. Now, with that understood, right? We're inherently peaceful, right? But
Right.
so we can look at the science and say, oh, dang, I'm not talking about epigenetic encoding. I'm talking about just the person, the biology of us. Now, that's not racism, because there are people who aren't Black, because I know they don't come from there's Eastern Indian people who are dark as heck, and they have that same melanin effect. All right. So yes, the opposite is we're not innately violent. We've been for so many, everything that we've experienced in this country, you don't have to go far to see, oh, there's the violence, oh, there it is, there's the whippings, there's the lynchings, there's the beatings, there's the verbal violence, the verbal abuse. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So we're the opposite, but we've learned. You take a child, right, a beautiful baby, you keep on abuse the baby. When that child is about 8 years old, he's gonna be a terror. So
Bingo.
Right.
So you can go on. I know I can go and go and go. I'm trying to work on that. So let me ask you, let me throw a question out here, and I'll let V-Brew first answer, and then he'll pass the mic to you.
Okay.
So we're all on the same page, right? We know that we have these traumas that are encoded. How do we, as a people, and I'm going to talk to you as Black men, is it hard for you to be the more peaceful one? Meaning, let me give you a scenario. Some guy comes to you, he pushes past you in the line and says, "Get out my way, P-U-N-K." I have to spell it because of the channel. And do you, as a man, you already want to say something like, "Hey, what do you mean?" But do you think that it would be wrong as a Black man, knowing that we have this propensity for violence? Do you think it would be less manly, or you'd be more of a P-U-N-K to say, "Oh, I just let him do it"? So whoever wants to go, I see the brother, but
Great question.
That's an issue.
Great question.
Go ahead, brothers.
So this is me, right? I believe that it is part of human nature, right, to be able to defend yourself. So you can say whatever you want to say to me. I'm fine with that, right? But once you physically engage me, I have the physical right to protect myself, right? And that being said, as long as you don't touch me, that's fine. Words are words, right? But once you physically engage me, right, I had the right to protect myself. And I think it's kind of a thing where like if somebody, like sometimes you say, let it go, whatever, like that stuff, right? But in this situation where I will let something like that go, but at the same time, you got physical with me. So yes, I'm going to protect myself. And I think that's the thing that's part of it. That's part of a situation too that we're taught in slavery too. We were taught to take the beatings, take the hits, take the punishment, right? And just turn the other cheek. No one, that doesn't happen and no one else does that, right? If I hit you, I can respect an equal, if not a more balanced response.
Okay. All right. I hear you. I hear you. I'm not gonna. I'll do my comment after the brother. So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. And you're not alone. A lot of men feel the same way. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but ... ellipsis. Go ahead, brother. Thank you for waiting due diligence. What do you say about that? Somebody comes up to you and he's like, "Man, get out my way, PUNK," and he, he kind of pushes you out the way. As a man, do you do what men should do, or knowing the history and of us, do you just say, "Oh man, I ain't doing it," at the risk of being called right away by your other black brothers and sisters, "Oh, you're a PUNK"? So I'm gonna hear from you.
No, Pa, that is really a profound question that you're asking, right? Because that situation, it took. I just turned 42 this month, but it probably took me 26 years of my life to realize that reacting in a negative way to those situations is not what men do, right? From the time that I was young until 26, I thought that was the man thing to do, that every time some small disrespect come my way, it was my duty to let that other person know that I'm not having that, right? And I thought that that's what a man was, right? And it took me half of my life to realize that I was being overly aggressive for nothing, right? But like we talked about prior, it was because of the environment that I was raised in, right? I was raised in the projects, right? A lot of drug and gang culture. So the men that I seen were super aggressive. You know what I'm saying? So once I got old enough to realize, and after I was getting into a lot of trouble, it just dawned on me, like, I can let some things that are disrespectful pass. You know what I'm saying? And it took a lot out of me to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like people that are not from where we from or where I'm from might think of that, like duh, but it wasn't apparent to me. You know what I'm saying? Growing up where I come from, like I had to learn that. Like nobody taught me that, so I had to go through that the hard way. So yes, I would say now in my 40s and probably till when I was 30. I would say probably up until I was 26, I would take that as a disrespect and probably put my hands on somebody or get aggressive with somebody or say something that's real bad. Nowadays, I can let a lot of that stuff slide, when before it wasn't like that. So
you know what? And I love what both of you said, because guess what? That is exactly both answers. They're both manly. A man should be able to, if one man pushes a man out of the way, he should be able to push him back. But knowing that we have, again, two black men, who's gonna bend? Get what I'm saying? If it gets to the point where it keeps escalating, like this says, keeping it real goes wrong, then we got the fist fight. Then we got the guns coming out. Then we got, or the police come and now somebody's arrested. You know what I'm saying? So that both answers are manly answers. The answer that both brothers gave doesn't mean like, oh, he was wrong or he's right as a man, but as black men, knowing the history, knowing the way we are, the violence is we're so quick, the violence. And it's not just the men, the women do it too. You see a world star, I'm gonna beat her up. You know what I'm saying?
Not to cut you off, but to add to what you're saying, I want to ask you, what do you think about, because now whenever I turn on the TV and whenever I turn on the internet, whenever I scroll on Facebook, all I see is women fighting. Whenever you listen to the commercial music, you hear aggressive women. Whenever you look at TV, you see aggressive women. Whenever you look at all these different things, now it seems like they pressing the same agenda that they did on black people. And I'm not trying to say it's some conspiracy going on, but nowadays what I'm seeing are the women fighting everywhere. Do you think that is? Or is that an agenda? Is that outside influence?
You know why that is?
I'm asking.
Because you watch it. See, to me, it's about algorithm. People know that they're getting views, they're getting clicks, they're getting likes, they're getting shares. Stop watching it.
They're still gonna fight if we don't watch it. They just, now we can
see it. I'm saying I think they're doing it more because of the fact that everyone's sharing it and liking it and spreading it around and making it go viral. So violence is going to happen, but I think it would be less if they got less attention from it.
I don't. I let's agree to disagree on that one because
It's
I
cool.
watch.
I respect that.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you saying? Did you say something?
No, I respect your disagreement. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Even before we could take out the camera phones, I'm a little older than I look. They used to be
Me and you about
fighting.
the same age.
Don't do that with all that gray in your beard. No, I'm just teasing you. I'm teasing you.
Yeah.
I'm teasing you. Yeah. Okay, brother. We're about the same age. Anyway. But yes. Well, you know that there in high school on the bus. Really not my high school, but I used to catch the bus, and these girls called the Rambo girls. It was always my own people wanting to fight me and follow me home, calling me saying they're gonna kill me. It's like, why? Because that's just how our culture works. And so I don't know about the algorithm stuff. Remember that story I told?
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
So when you were in high school, right, and you were and the girls wanted to fight you, was there always a crowd of people that wanted to see the fight, that wanted to watch it?
I never got that far. I was always rescued by a nice young man at my school, or on the bus. He always would jump in. So I never got it was never a crowd of people. It was just a group of girls. And so, yeah, but I do know what you're saying. A crowd of people will always gather around to fight. A crowd of why? Because we
like violence. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Well, that's part of our culture. Ooh, I got to see this. You made a great point. Oh, there's a fight after school. Like, we should be saying, no, don't go fight.
But I think that's human nature. Like,
that's what I was about to say. I don't think that that's a black thing, right? I think anytime you see people fighting, I don't care what race you are, you want to go watch. But to the question, you think that. Well, I'm not saying you particularly, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, whatever.
A lot of people don't want to watch fights, though. Not to cut you off, but I'm just saying. See, that's part of our culture. Thinking, a lot of people we want to. Yes, all across the board, not just blacks, want to see boxing but if you hear about two people, like two men, I mean, if you see two men fighting, not hear about. Instead of just watching, and I'm talking about our people, I'm not talking about anybody else. We should be like, don't fight. And then what happens though? That person always gets killed, right? The one trying to break the fight up. I mean, it's a mess. But go ahead. I get it. People do want to watch the fights, but not everybody.
I'm not saying that people want to watch fights, but I'm saying if a fight break out, people gonna watch. Like whatever culture you are. You know what I'm saying? Are black people more aggressive generally? I would say so. But to the brother's point that he was making, because he was saying that, they wouldn't make it if we didn't watch it. Well, I would argue it in the reverse, because I feel like they pump it out and then we mimic it, right? It gets pumped out first, because whenever you look at the reality shows like the Housewives and stuff like that, that's pumped out and people watch it. Like, people are going to watch it because, like I said, if it's a fight, people want to see it. When you hear the music, right? Like, that's just what's popping right now. People consuming it. Whenever you look at what is it? It's the music. And then when you look on social media, same way, you see these like hood fights happening in real life and people recording them. So to me, I feel like there's a direction. And I don't want to be on the conspiracy type deal, but whenever you look at it as a whole, like, I can't see that as just being us. Like, I think Nepal is looking at it like, you can get that picture. I think that's what they want people to think, but I don't think that that's us. That's just what's being promoted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
right.
I want to let me just say this real quickly. Now, I'm not saying this thing about watching fights is like, that's not exactly what I'm talking about with black people. So I want to kind of back off of that. I'm talking about our women and our women thinking it's okay to fight, like how you brought up Real Housewives. One minute the women will be, and again, I'm not standing in a pedestal, because once I got on social media, I turned into this different type of savage monster that I never was around the Black people that I like, my friends and family. But once I got into a certain like I was attacked by women who are used to that savage culture. Just stick with me on this. Well, I'm trying to articulate myself and
No,
not
I
go.
hear you. I hear you. You're not saying nothing negative. I hear what you're saying.
So yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, our women, like, you'll be watching the Real Wives of whatever, and they look beautiful, you know, hair done, eyes, best, most expensive clothes, nails, but then they'll have a fist fight. It's like, yes, you could see that on like the one white Real Wives, but not as much.
Nepal.
And the reason is because it's okay. They expect us to fight.
Nepal, you don't.
That's what Bieber said. Go ahead.
You know that you know this, Nepal. The Real Housewives, you know what I'm saying? It's a reality show, but it's lightweight scripted too. They put these people in these situations on purpose. You know this. You know what I'm saying? You speaking to Nepal.
The Black women that's a part of them. Like they said, oh, people love to see you Black women go at it. And now we're going to make a show called Baddies, where just Black women are supposed to fist fight all the time.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying do you agree with me that they set those things up though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like a vicious cycle. So we're not a disagreeing. I think we're all saying this, we're agreeing, but it's like, where do we stop it? Like, where do we say, I already know me, I don't fight. I don't fight. I have a horrible mouth if somebody disrespects me or tries to hurt me, which I got to work on. So that's my weapon, my violence, but I don't fight. But so I can walk away from you could call me a coward. You can tell me I'm running. And I wish more of us were like that. You know what I mean? Like,
no, for sure.
I wish more of us could, then we could we could start there. But I don't even think that's the biggest issue with just, well, let me rephrase that. We got to start with these conversations and admitting that we are not we're not innately violent,
but we are falling into those
crazy.
We are falling into those stereotypes, right? Angry Black woman, angry Black men. You know what I'm saying? And I wish more women were like you. Like, you're not saying nothing. Like, you talking about these aggressive women. That it's a thing. There are aggressive women, and there are aggressive Black men too. And we're being honest about it. And I thought I was honest with you. We do need to reel that back, because I still know some Black men to this day that won't accept no type of disrespect. They're going balls to, you know what I'm saying? Balls to the wall. And the same thing with Black women. Cannot accept no disrespect. And
and some of them, all of them, I said on the internet savage, some of them are very, very beautiful, nice Black women that say, oh, I'm gonna beat her butt. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking. It's so embedded in our culture that it could be a nice auntie, right? And she's like, oh, she did what? And start taking her earrings. Like, we joke about that, right?
No, that's true.
I don't know. It's like the N word, where we made it like it's something good, but it's not really good. Because I even take the earrings off, you know, it's cute. Like,
right.
Auntie's about to scrap, but it's just something that, anyway, it's crazy.
No.
But see, when I look at women violence, right? I think, and this is just me thinking off the top, right? I think a part of the problem with women violence, right, is that, again, them not being able to actually, I don't want to say be a woman, but them not actually being able to be feminine, right? Yeah. Because they always had to kind of like, where they always kind of had like to take on that masculine role as far as raising the kids by themselves and having to, you know, work in the conditions like they had to work in, right? Like, like one of the problems I find with us, right, is that we don't get to be average, right? We have
Right.
to be great. We have to be great, right? And we have to we try so much harder and fight so much harder for whatever it is that we want out of ourselves, right? And I think that where typically, I won't say everyone's like this, but typically, this can be still typical of me to say this, but I think typically white women have their time where they get to be feminine, when they get to be soft, right? But black women always have to be strong, right? And I think that could be one of the components that are allowing our women to be violent because they don't have no one to protect them, right? They have to always protect themselves. So they,
But
you know,
what are we protecting ourselves from? You could say
I'm saying from our
we're not
community, from
protecting
ourselves, from
ourselves
each
from the
other,
slave master anymore.
right? But it's from us.
From the
You know?
from especially, and I'm not don't please everybody. There's some beautiful youth out there. I have a son, he's a youth, but let's be real. Our youth, it's like you can see it manifesting even worse. A black mother, what? Remember the black woman that went to go get the hot dogs with her son?
Yep.
And he knocked the mess out of her for what? For cutting the line, he thought. And what happened? The son had to unalive him. See the cycle of it's not something that just is coincidental, you guys. When we talk about conspiracy theory, it is set up to do. We were set up to be this way, and it's crazy. It gives me goosebumps. I keep getting goosebumps because the way the cycle, the vicious cycle. Where do we stop? I would have if I were her. And the minute he started talking to me, I would have left. I don't care about how many hot dogs. I could have had $100 worth of hot dogs that I already paid for. I would have left. And does that make her wrong? No, but the more I speak about it and vocalize, we need to be more responsible and do things that normal people, like the brother Vibru said, that normal people don't have to do. We got to leave, even though our hot dogs are ready and Charles, your hot dogs are ready. No, even though our hot dogs are ready and our food is ready and we paid a lot, if we see some violence or somebody that's ready to go, what do you think? What we gotta? I gotta go out, come back, call the store. Hey, I was in there. This guy was going crazy on me because you notice they don't do anything for us. You notice the guys behind the glass when he was assaulting her, they just watched. Because you talk about the black woman and the protection, right? They just watch because they're like, oh, they just fight all the time. Am I lying?
Not at all. And to add to what you're saying, like I don't want people to get it twisted on what I'm saying either, because I'm not above violence. But we talking about whenever it's not necessary. I think black people got this
hairpin trigger.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Black women and black men. And we just gotta reel that back and just understand that everything is not that serious. You know what I mean? Like, even whenever I work, I got some women that I work with, man, that's just always talking about fighting. I'll whoop this bee's ass. I'll just be like, what are y'all? And then they'd be saying it to me thinking that they being cute. And I'm looking at them like, that's not even cute. Like, I don't even care that you and the situation to be so petty. But
and are they nice ladies? They're not? I bet they're not ratchet hood rats. They're just regular people who work, right?
They just regular women and just think that that's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
I don't mean to cut your throat, but I just wanted to see how you added. So that I love the input, because both of you, that's the point about it's just in our culture that we don't even think about it. When we're playing around, we don't think about it. And then when we're really serious, he lost his life over a fast food line, over somebody cutting him in the fast food line. Go ahead, Vibru. I'm sorry.
So let me make sure I make the comment right. So you said a person lost his life over in the fast food line?
Yeah. Did you hear that story?
No, I heard you talking about it. That's the first time I've heard about it. I didn't see it before. I was just thinking to myself, sometimes I think one of the problems that we have is that we don't respect our money, and people don't respect our money. So we will take our money, we will spend it with people who don't respect us, right? And that's why, like, and my daughter's here, she'll tell you, I don't shop in stores where they have bulletproof glass on it,
Mm.
right? Because I feel that if you're telling me, if you're telling me this store got bulletproof glass on it, you're telling me this place is unsafe. So if it's unsafe, I don't need to be there.
Talk about it. Thank you. Oh, wow.
Right?
Hold that thought. I promise I'm not going to take your thought over. Bingo. That is so true. Why would you shop somewhere where he's protecting his life, but you out here in danger? Go ahead, brother. Keep on.
Right. Right. So I think that's important, right? That because this in those stores are open, like where I work at right now, on my drive truck, those stores are open 24 hours a day. The people who come out those stores in 24 hours a day are usually addicts, and not trying to judge people and everything, so right? They usually have mental health conditions, things like that and stuff, right? So they sometimes you'll notice that they'll create that type of environment, right? That draws those type of people into it, right? I remember, let me tell you just a quick story. I remember when I was a kid, my grandma used to give me a note, right? And she would take this to the man at the counter. Well, take it to the man at the counter. He would give me everything on that note, and I would take it home. I didn't have no money in my pocket, right?
Yeah,
And
you
she would
must be the
say,
same age as me. That's what we used
yeah,
to do too. That's exactly what we
right?
used to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And we could wait. Did
And
you call it
and
the
at the end of
Chinaman?
the
Did you
month,
call it the Chinaman store?
yep. At the end of the month,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna go to the store,
And they
and she
lived in
would
the
give them all
community.
the,
And they lived in the
yep.
community. Go
And
ahead. I'm
yes,
sorry.
and those stores were black owned.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
see
not
what you
mine.
see
Mine
here
were
in front of you?
Chinese. They were Chinese.
Yeah,
But go
Mine
ahead.
was
but
African.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. Go ahead,
right,
V. Bruce. You triggered me.
but
You
those stores at the
go ahead.
time were black owned. There was nobody hanging out in the front of the corner of the store,
Mm.
right? There were no drug dealers hanging in the corner of the store, right? That
Mhm.
you didn't see, that wasn't there.
Mhm. No, they
You know,
said the
that
same
wasn't
thing.
there.
There's a few of us in here that
Yeah,
it used to be like that. Yeah.
yeah. But
No
as soon as I hate to
bulletproof
say,
glass.
I'm trying
No
to be,
bulletproof glass.
yeah, you didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to erase anything, but that came along when the Arabs who saw us a certain way put those up.
But let me tell you something though, V. Brew. About 10 years later, two guys went in and KILLED unalived the husband, unalived him. And so the lady lived in the neighborhood. She ended up she kept the store going, but the family moved out the neighborhood. But anyway, I'm listening to you made me think of something. They did unalive them, but I still stand with you on that about the bulletproof. If you are in it, don't have a store there. But guess what? Nobody should really have a store there until the violence and until we get it together. I mean, these young men that are just like, look, I don't want my son going anywhere
I'm
around
the I'm,
anybody.
I'm the same way. Like it's kind of strange, like me being in my 40s and walking to the corner store and being scared of people that look like me because I know these young guys is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I just left my cousin's house. He's staying in the projects, right? We over there playing dominoes,
Mhm.
and his partners, 17, 18, 19, they all got guns. We playing dominoes. What guns for what? You know
Thank
what I'm saying?
you.
So it's just like the way these youngsters with their mentality. I'm scared for them. I'm scared for myself, and I'm scared for them. And we need to do something. Like I don't know what to do, but the way the climate is, the way the culture is right now, it's just really, really derogatory for the young culture.
Wow. Thank you. This is great, Bill. Thank you for joining. I love the input, especially from Black men on the other panel, which it wasn't a lot of it wasn't a lot of brothers, and it's no diss on the other panel. I think you were in the chat, Spiderface. I said the same thing, that our people, we have this propensity, this thing about violence where it's just accepted in our culture, and then somehow I got twisted into like I'm promoting white supremacy. Oh, never that.
No.
So if I'm promoting white supremacy, so is Dr. Joy Degree. But anyway, thank you for the male input. I do, if you're a sister, if you want to come in, please hit the link. Go ahead, Spider Face. Why'd you turn your camera on? We want to hear from you.
Peace,
I mean,
Spider
your
Face.
camera off. Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you just fine. We see the spider on your forehead.
I have an analogy I want to be make, just the same way that for deaf people to be able to hear, they have to use sign language to speak to them. The same way to speak to a belligerent or ignorant individual, you must use physical violence, because that's the only thing that they can actually understand is physical violence. Intelligent people can agree to disagree. If I'm with an intelligent brother and me and him have a problem with each other, we can come to some type of understanding where it's not that serious. Just like the young man said, he said, somebody cut in front of him in the line. He got enough sense to say, you know what? It's not even that serious. You know what I'm saying? He let it slide. We can agree to disagree only with intelligent people. I'm 54 years old and I just got into a fist fight yesterday. Little young nigga, I had to whoop his ass. I work out just to whoop a nigga ass because I understand.
What happened? Can you tell us the background on it? Exactly, like how did it transpire?
It transpired on some bullshit. First of all,
if you don't mind,
I don't want to go into the details of the situation or whatever. I don't really want to go into the details of the situation. I'm just telling you, there's people that you have to handle.
Are you? How did he push you? I just want to know like the background.
When you're around, when you're in the hood, if you're around degenerate individuals, you're gonna come across belligerent, ignorant people who only understand violence. You understand?
Was it one of those things that you could have brushed off, or do you feel like you had to put your hands on him?
Yeah.
It could have went worse. I could have murked the nigga, but I chose not to. I just know just this how easy it is for you to lose your life fucking the wrong people. You understand? That's all. And I'm 54 years old. So it's like you still have violence. You have to, it's a lot of times people don't understand violence is necessary. It's necessary. Period.
Well,
and it's a part of our culture.
I'm glad you came in and added, because we don't have an echo chamber in here any longer. So I want to ask you some questions, not about that altercation, because obviously you don't want to get into too many details, and I can understand why. But like the brother asked you, what if? Of course, you should be able to. You must defend yourself. I'm not saying that there isn't a time when some people have to resort to physical violence and to live. But I'm asking, like, what if you got to the point where there was no choice and you would have had to unalive him? Do you see? Let me rephrase that. If you would have had to unalive him, that would have also ruined your life. Which would have been better? And I don't know the whole.
It would not, because the state of South Carolina is a hold your ground state. You understand? I live in South Carolina. I live in Vance, South Carolina.
So you were in danger.
So
okay.
I have a concealed weapons permit. I have what is called a Utah concealed weapons permit, which means I can carry my gun in 38 states. So because I have concealed weapons,
well,
breaking up.
Okay, well then, from what I'm hearing,
it takes the level of the guns.
You could defend yourself.
The nigga was threatening me. The nigga was threatening my life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Threatening my life in the state of South Carolina, which is a hold your ground state. Anytime they threaten you, you can hurt them. Same situation happened in Florida with that George Zimmerman when he killed Trayvon Martin. You understand? This is a hold your ground state. You understand? Any type of threats, I won't accept. I'm just trying to let you know that violence is necessary, and violence is a part of our culture. And we must
Yeah.
understand that the human body is designed to act violently. Any type of virus comes inside of our system. What our red blood cells do, what our white blood cells do, they gather up and they fight whatever virus that's in our system. It's designed that way. You understand? We not no pushover people. You understand?
See,
Or
I
you need to
what you're saying.
understand that. Women can't understand this because women don't understand this. Men understand what I'm talking about. Women don't understand that. You see, because a woman can sit there, and huff off all day, and nobody will do that shit, not to her. But a man try to mouth off like that and see what happens to him.
This is the issue with our culture right here, and it's not that he's wrong or right. It's just the truth of our culture. That's what I'm going to say. It's the truth of our culture, and this is why. Yeah, we have to be careful. Sonetter, I see you backstage. Peace to you. Peace.
Sonetter.
Peace to the Godfather.
Yeah, go ahead to the gentleman, the brothers. Jump in and respond to the brother if you like.
I'll let Reap go. I'll go after you, bro.
All right, peace. Thanks. See, I agree with what he's saying as far as he said he threatened his life, right? So once you threaten a person's life, that person has a right to defend themselves. If somebody, even if they like, earlier you mentioned in the beginning, someone pushing somebody. If somebody pushes me and they say, "Hey, my bad, I didn't mean to do that," right? But they push me with the intentions on trying to hurt me, then yes, I'm going to defend myself. So I think what he was saying, right? I don't disagree with what he was saying on the grounds that his life was threatened. And with that whole thing about, again, like I said, being toward the turning of the cheek, right? It's in your neck. It's human nature. It's not even a black thing. It's human nature that if someone hits you, right? Or someone attacks you even verbally, you're going to defend yourself.
No, well, wait. He didn't say the guy hit him, and no, verbally you cannot.
No, he said I said the guy hit him. He said the guy threatened his life.
Well,
right?
You can say what you want. You're not see. That's the thing. I'm glad we're talking about this, and there's no right or wrong. Well, wait. Let me rephrase that. I'm not attacking. I'm appreciating Spiderface being up here because this is what I'm meaning, like about how we need to reprogram ourselves, because if somebody comes out of their face and starts threatening you, engaging physically isn't the answer. Leaving the area is the answer if you can. And if you can't leave the area, make sure you find a way to put a distance between you and him. Or I mean, if someone's threatening your life verbally and you're in the area, why would you stay? Why would you stay? I'm going to show you a clip from Dr. Joy Degree. Answer that, but I want to show you what she says about it. Go ahead.
I want to go next before you show the clip.
No, you can go right now. It's okay. On you, due diligence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
So man, so this is one of those things, right? And I'm like you, Nepal. He's not necessarily wrong, but you still have to be able to de-escalate situations whenever you feel like there are idle threats. Like every threat is not a real threat. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know your situation. I don't know if it was a real threat or not. But once I have gotten older, I realized that, you know, a lot of threats are false threats. But at the same time, we can't always, you know, you don't know what threats are idle threats until things are going down. So I'm not saying you did the right thing or the wrong thing. All I'm saying is sometimes whenever you get older, even when people threaten you, you have to let stuff go. And I already told you, brother, that I'm not above violence, right? Because if somebody put their hands on me, it's going down. And if somebody catch me on the wrong day and threaten me, it's going down. But in my older age, I have now learned to even let idle threats go, especially coming from youngsters and stuff, and just have to let him know. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that ain't what you want to do. Put your hands on me if you want to, and then it's going down. But sometimes, you know, threats are just threats too. So I get both sides.
Okay, thank
So
you.
my thing is this.
After V Brew, I'm gonna let the brother who just joined 5. You can come in. Thanks for joining.
Peace.
V Brew, go ahead, brother, and then we're gonna pass the mic to 5.
So my thing is this, right? I don't know the brother, right? But I would assume, right, that at 54 years old, if somebody threatened him and he felt a need to put his hands on that person, right? Right? It was enough for him to feel like he needed to defend himself, right? So he don't say what was said, right? But the person threatened him, right? I'm assuming that he threatened his life, right? Was it a situation he could work with? We don't know, right? But I would just say that he felt that the threat was warranted him to defend himself.
And even if not, sometimes you can't wait to find out. You know what I mean? You hear me, V-Brew?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just listening to you saying sometimes, like, you don't always know if an idle threat is an idle threat, and sometimes you don't want to find out because, like, if somebody threatened me, like, I'm not above getting off on that person first. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can't wait to see if that threat is an idle threat. So I'm not saying the brother is wrong. Definitely.
Right.
Have enough emotional intelligence and impulse control not to just jump around and just look for fist fights. I'm not that type of person. But when a situation calls for it, when an individual is threatening my life, I'm not going to walk away. I've seen people get killed walking their way. I'm going to have a situation right then and there. Violence is necessary, and I'm going to choose violence if it gets that aggressive. If we cannot agree to disagree, and you feel like you want to put your hands on me, then I'm not going to run from the confrontation. I will accept the challenge if you think you can defeat me and choose violence.
So let me ask you a question, big bro. Is there ever a time to where you think if somebody threatened you, and I don't care who it is, where it is, or wherever the case, somebody threatened to put their hands on you, right? Do you think there is ever a time that you could de-escalate the situation, or do you think it's always called for you if somebody threatened you to quote unquote defend yourself or make a preemptive strike?
There have been situations in my life. I know the difference between somebody that's selling wolf tickets and somebody that's ready to tee off. I know the difference. I think that we are all men and we understand the situation. We're grown men. It's the reason why men, we talk to each other with respect because we know how things can get when we become disrespectful.
You cutting out, big bro.
On the internet.
Your internet is
choppy. The internet has changed everything. People talk reckless now on the internet, but we talk respectfully to each other one-on-one when we facing each other because we know how things could get out of hand because we're men.
Okay, so again, you broke up a little bit. Spider, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna let 5 weigh in, and then because he hasn't said anything. So go ahead, 5.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, it's always great to be on a SideNetted inspired channel, sponsored channel. Peace to the pod, peace to the panel. What I want to say is I'm 37 now, and I come from North Philly, and like a lot of what these gentlemen are saying is prevalent. Like you definitely cannot wait to find out what another man is thinking. Usually you have to be quick on your feet, assess the situation, but it also comes with a level of discernment where as though you come from, which I do, and I'm not bragging about it, but it's just the nature of the beast and where I actually come from, coming from North Philly. I was a fighter and I was a young man that could not handle my emotions. The hairline trigger, so to speak, even came from jokes with my homies, like homies that I grew up with, spent hours 10, 11, 12 hours a day with outside of like being in the classroom. I could not handle my emotions and I fought a lot of these people. Me playing sports, you know, those competitions coming from that background of sword sharpen swords, iron sharpen iron, and things going too far, trying to be cool, you know, having less than what the standard is and everybody judging each other, talking about clothing, materialistic things like who got the better sneakers, who got the haircuts, who actually gets the attention. We fought over everything. But as a man, you grow up and you realize, or some men don't, but you come to a point of understanding where as though will you continue along those paths of you reacting to the world or you being proactive to the world? And we don't have that as a culture. I'm Man, I'm six figures now, so I've seen a lot of things and I've risen a lot of levels. But at the same time, even at my level, it's still so many people that's 20 years older than me, still small minded, still got baby brains, still living, chasing the
Yeah.
perpetual hamster wheel, living in that cycle of not really truly growing, not getting better, not reading books. And I understood that as a young man, but also I lived in the hood, so that didn't live as a priority in my mind. Getting money and getting girls was the priority in my mind. Then when you get girls, you understand the level of money you need. Then when you get the level of money, you realize the level of friendships you need. Then when you get the level of friendships that control your environment, that promote you getting money, having a safe space, you start to understand that, man, like outside of this circle right here is war. And we cannot ever forget that, because no man has the right to be safe. Like, we are all out here as competition, and the actual paradigm that we live in, far as what the white man has conditioned us to understand, can never be forgotten. So even when you turn 30, 40, 50, it's always going to be a young gun trying to make his mark. And whether he is conscious or not, whether he is civil or not, self-preservation is the first law of the land. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Peace.
Okay. So, are you just taking a like a poll here? So, are you saying that the brother? I see. We don't know his full situation, what took place, but would you say that if someone challenges you, and this is really for everybody, someone says, "Yeah, I'm going to beat your ass, and I'm going to do this and this to you," would you say that it's your duty as a man
In North
to
Philly, in Philly, on the
take
East
that
Coast,
challenge, or just to say, "Nah, bro, it's good"?
on the East Coast, I don't know where everybody from. I ain't living 1,000 places. I only lived on the East Coast: Philly, Jersey, New York, Delaware, Maryland, DC. But we don't talk like that. If you talking like that, it gotta be serious. Like, it gotta be serious. And then at the same time, everything is an awareness type of situation. You'll be a fool to allow uh somebody to bait you into a situation where all you got is your hands. If all you got is your hands, and you staring at younger guys in white Charger tinted out windows, and you want to like go there with them, man, like you might be asking for it. You might
So
have been
see that,
smart.
right. Go ahead. You might finish your statement. You
Oh
might be
yeah,
what?
no, you might be asking for it, but talking about being in a store with a person in Walmart is all about that moment. It's all about you being intelligent enough to assess your own emotions, one, when it's happening, two, reaction. And with men, the disrespect, like I'm one of those guys. Like, I grew up, I don't tolerate no disrespect, but it's levels to not tolerating no disrespect, because this is just like, if you about that action, you gotta tolerate some disrespect, because you know how far you're gonna take it. So that right there is the leash that you give to the world. But then when people are encroaching on your type of uncomfortability, where now you gotta fight or flight this situation to successfully remove yourself from this situation, that's when higher intelligence come into play, because all killers don't want to be known. All killers don't want to be known. And we have like celebrities that have successful kills, and that's the glory of the hood. The glory of the hood is a successful kill.
What do
The
you mean
cops
by
can't.
that? What do you mean by the successful kill?
Like, if somebody breaks into your home invasion, and you get them before they can move their body in a certain direction, not like in a running away position, that's success. Like, we gonna cheer for that all day. If you come into my crib, yo, you not gonna leave. Like, that's guaranteed. I'm gonna make sure the way I get you, I'm not going to jail, you're not leaving. We're gonna have you for dinner. But certain situations, like friends and family that would do something devious to somebody that they know, break into your home and there's a scuffle going on, or they ambush you in a way that you have to react without thinking, and they're running away where you're finally got the upper hand, like a scuffle, and then you finally go get something that could even the playing field, then you're in trouble with the law. In the hood,
Yeah,
we
it's
don't want to
kind
be in
of.
trouble with the law.
Yeah, most of this isn't about, like, I get what you're saying and I appreciate your input, but like the home invasion thing is a totally different thing. I get that. I just moving away from. I don't want to really focus on Spider Face's situation, his incident too much, but this is the thing. I appreciate. Thank you so much for adding you and Spider, because this is the issue that's going on with us as a people. Like, I'm not telling men how, like, you can't do this and you can't do that. However, I am, as a black person, making an observation that we are inherent. No, we're not inherently. We are okay with violence, and we see violence as something that's a good thing, even when there's options to not be violent. You get what I'm saying?
Take for instance, like to support what you're saying, like black people are some of the only people. Like if we look at each other for too long, we'll be ready to fight.
Oh yes.
If you step on somebody's shoe, they'll be ready to fight. You see black people fighting in restaurants. You know what I'm saying? Like fast food restaurants, like all the time on social
On
media.
Easter, grandma's fighting.
Nah, but not to cut your wisdom, bro. I definitely feel you on that. But every culture is like that. I got some Russian homies. I got a lot of different cultural homies, and come from different sides. And I always ask the same thing because I'm a nigga that rumble. I used to rumble, bro. I used to rumble. Like, I could not control my emotions. The your mom joke. If I say the funny joke and somebody said your mom, that would make me want to fight. I was so weak. You know what I'm saying? But in every culture, a man is a man that way. Some men are like men in physical features, but they still boys. They still got baby brains. So we all have this challenge that we go through as men that is prevalent of picking on people. Like, the world is not rich. So every other culture, they still got hoods, they still got slums, they still got ghettos, they still get uh discriminated against in their various ways, especially
So
with the
let me
Asians.
let me ask you this then. Considering the culture, when you think about like the thing, I don't know if you how long you've been on, but when you think about the music that's being pushed to our people. Whenever you look at the reality shows, the violent nature of the reality shows, the violent music, and when you look on Facebook and you see all the black women fighting and all the black guys fighting on Facebook, you don't think that has? Do you think that that has anything to do with how black people are acting in the present, especially our younger kids, and then especially compared to other societies? Like I don't see that. Like I don't hear aggressive music in other societies like it is in black culture. Like it's been a staple for black culture for a minute. When you look at black reality shows, it's been fighting for like the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't see that in other cultures.
I'm with you on that, bro. But we
What
also
about
have
Happy
to look at
Battle?
it. We also have to look at it from the paradigm that this is all being shown to us in English. We can't really judge what they see, what they go through when we don't understand their culture, their language. So we can't watch the Asian shows the way we watch American shows with Asians. Like, this is all presented to us, and that's what I said in the chat, bro. Like, and I learned that from cybersecurity. Like, social engineering is what we all know is going on. We just call it conspiracy theory, we just call it like these other terms, but it's really social engineering. It's
I
what
agree.
our government, our culture, our language is feeding back to us. And then we have the nefarious organizations that is prophetizing on the fact that, controversy sells, sex sells, disruption sells. and this is what keeps the narrative going. So at the same time, we have to in America, you could see even with Donald Trump being the president. I'm not for or against Donald Trump. I actually fuck with him business wise, but long story short, I apologize for cursing. I actually like him business wise, but character wise, I could see how this would be hostility. But at the same
Do you
time, the
think it's
way that
disproportionate? Do you think it's disproportionate for black people? Because it sounds like you were saying that it's the same, and I think the point that we was making is that it's disproportionate for black people.
Nah, I don't think it's disproportionate for the simple fact that white people are not living in the same world that we living in, because
That's the point.
they right, but because they need to be entertained above all else, because this is their paradigm. This is their paradigm. So they need to be entertained with the things that are of them, aren't them. The same way we talk from a global aspect of being ancient people, the first people on earth. So we have to look at our paradigm as we've done it all. We've been violent, we've been civil, we've been like to lack of a better word, we've been weak and we've been strong. But at the same time, we are not in control anymore. And now it's their turn to be in control for however long that our paradigm allows it to happen. But at the same time, this is their reality to see the other world. We're just unconsciously playing into their hand. We're not taking control and saying, you know what? Let me just be a people of reading books, getting more knowledge, using that knowledge to apply wisdom. And,
So, brother, what's your name?
five,
Five. Peace. Let me ask you a question.
peace.
Well, with something you just said, I don't mean to cut your wisdom. Do you think we're behaving in a way that entertains them?
For sure. For sure. You talk about a man killing a man for nothing over sneakers. That they love that. Because
But isn't it
now they
something
can
that
buy
you
the they can buy the sneakers that the killers use. The most hottest sneakers in the world is the sneakers that the killers wear, the drug dealers wear. And they don't have to worry about killing each other over it, because they come from a structure where that taught them that these things are meaningless.
So knowing this, why would we still say all
And
this about I'm gonna have to stand my ground? I gotta do this. Why would we not be smarter and say, no, this is a system that I've been put in, a conspiracy set in play for me to
crash out.
not even a conspiracy, excuse me. It's a social construct that the deep state, or whatever you want to say they are, the cabal, they've created this for me to destroy essentially myself by destroying people who are looking like me. Why would we not just say,
Mm.
you know what? I don't care if I look like a punk. I don't care about this. I'm going to live another day, and then maybe this black, this black man, or even this black woman, they'll live another day too. And I'm not a part of the problem.
Because the theory, and I don't mean to cut nobody else that want to jump in. I'm gonna stop talking after this. I love to talk, but I apologize. The theory cuts short for the simple fact that we all can take the higher road, but the one person that don't take the higher road opens the doorway for somebody else to be like, he was smart for doing that. Because in being a bad kid, you realize that okay, the bad kid does get in trouble, but also after he gets in trouble, he gets more special attention where the teachers are now coddling to him. So it's like, will I risk it being bullied and picked on every single day when the teachers can't save me, or would I try to just dominate the room? And that's the chicken and the egg kind of reality. Do you want to be a victim first, or do you want to know for a fact that you could just dominate and get the special treatment? Because the victims don't get special treatment. The victims just get the band-aids until the band-aids become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger
And then the
until you
band-aids
finally
become
snap.
coffins or jail cells
Or jail cells. That you're right.
or
So
coffins. Yeah.
and now our culture, and this is relatively new within the last 100 200 years, but our culture thrives on the viewpoint of the criminal. Now we have criminals stop being criminals, do their time, and then they come home and tell their stories, and now they're considered like gurus of the underworld. So we have a perverse position to defend against. And if that's the dominant success, to be perverse, the natural human instinct is to do what's natural. And if perverse is being natural in this world to succeed, we're all going to find a way to be natural.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone's input up here. This is, believe it, this is helpful. We're having a little feedback. I don't know who it is. I thought it was me. I muted out, but just letting whoever's on the panel know that if you want to mute out or fix that, you can.
Maybe I'm gonna mute. I'm check.
I want to show the panel and the audience something I showed on the last stream that I did. This is Dr. Joy Degree. She talks about post-traumatic slave syndrome. Peace, Terry and H. Millette and everybody. I see you. I appreciate everybody's input. But anyway, I'm going to show you a part where she goes into, because it's basically self-destruction. And she talks about the difference between the European, and I don't even like saying the white person the white male who experiences depression and how he reacts to it compared to the black male and how he reacts to depression. So I'm going to play this and I'm going to pause it, let you guys give some commentary just for fair use and, for the channel. But let's listen to Dr. Joy Degree, because she's going to get to the point where she doesn't exactly say what you guys are saying, but it's in the same vein where she's like, the black male doesn't run even in the face of death. He doesn't run. It's like wired in him to be like, I'm just going to do this. It's going to be, let's get it on. And we can argue, I'll say, hey, that's very manly, but to what end is it manly? To what end? I would rather have someone live and be and that's wisdom, and wisdom is manly. For me, like the brother Spider said, I'm a woman. I would rather have someone live another day instead of with this pride, which is and subconsciously self-destructive, than stand his ground and end up either in the coffin or in the jail. You know what I'm saying? So
not to cut your wisdom, this is
go ahead
the
before
part.
I play this.
We will all, the rap game has taught me, and I'm 37. I'm born in 88, but the rap game taught me you'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Exactly. I had a situation a few years ago where my brother, can you hear me?
Yes.
I had a situation a few years ago, shot 4 times, 6 times. I was ready to die right there with my brother. An individual shot who was trying to steal my brother's car. I choose violence. Any situation where it's an altercation and we can't agree to disagree and we can't settle it, I choose violence. I'd rather be, just like the young man just said, judged by 12 than carried by 6. Any situation, period. And a lot of people feel, most men understand what I'm saying. Women, on the other hand, they can't comprehend this thing. But men, we understand this is a reason why we treat each other with the utmost respect. Even if they respect an individual, that doesn't mean you want to disrespect that person. If I don't have respect for that individual, I won't say anything to them, but I'm not going to disrespect them. Understand? So we carry a level of respect with each other because we know just how things can go and how things can get.
Thank you. All right, Spider and everyone, let's listen to this, and I'll give each person a chance to weigh in on what she's saying. So let me
an example that I actually use it. And now, the statistics on it.
Hold on.
Other behaviors. The moment they go into therapy, do it.
Let me get to the part where
she's try to help them.
Talking.
That's interesting because
here it is.
African American males. Now we know that those who have the highest homicide rate is who? African American males have the highest homicide rate.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Okay. Who has the highest suicide rate? That's right. So European males have the highest suicide rate. Now, I think that's interesting. That's an interesting statistic. Now, let me explain to you what that means clinically. If you come into me, now let's first of all tell me what depression looks like, because usually people that commit suicide are what? They depressed. They ain't happy about something. Matter of fact, they ain't happy about a lot. So they ain't happy. How does that look? How does depression look? You know, they have the little things on television commercials that let you know what depression. What it look like?
Before she writes it, I'm gonna ask the panel because I have to stop it anyway. I'm gonna go really quickly around. V-Brew, what does depression look like for you?
Depression. For me,
how do you know someone's depressed? Just give me a sentence.
Well, I would look at the environment.
Okay, their environment's not going too well. Okay, what about you, due diligence? What would be a sign that someone's depressed to you?
Usually looking from the outside to see somebody else depressed is a person that's isolating, a person that don't want to be social. But like even for myself, I'm not really a social person. I'm not really an extrovert. But even depression for me, I'll draw even more away from people. I don't want to talk to people. So depression for me is just I get even more isolated.
Okay, thank you. Isolation, the environment's bad for that person. What about you, Spiderface? Can you just give me an example of something you would see as an indication that someone's depressed? How from that person?
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I have no idea what depression looks like. You could take the case of Robin Williams, one of the greatest comedians of all time. He was always depressed. I don't know what depression looks like. I don't suffer from depression, but I've never suffered from depression a day in my life. So okay. I wouldn't know what it looks like. And I'm an extreme introvert, so I'm not around people to understand how they feel when they're depressed. I don't know.
I appreciate your honesty. So we got that. And that's very interesting.
So you never felt sad before?
Remember what the brother said. I'm going to get to 5. What did you say? Somebody, okay. I didn't, I heard somebody talking and then 5.
Yeah, it was me. I was asking the other folks. Yeah, that was me. Okay.
Yeah, we're just doing a quick each person, and then we're going to listen to what the doctor says, because it's going to be very interesting when you listen to what she said. It's very interesting to hear what Spider said, especially when Spider's the person who came in and said, I don't play with that. I don't mess with that. If somebody mess with me, they're going to get this, that. So I want you to keep that in mind. And 5, you kind of echo Spider's rhetoric in a more like a little bit not so radical way. But give me just one example of something you would see as a sign of depression from a person.
Well, where I'm from, depression is substance abuse for sure. Like we going to where I'm from, the first sign of depression is becoming a pothead, alcoholic, or you got short temper now that you like partying, you want to isolate yourself from the normal things that make us understand who you are. You really being more volatile in conditions of poverty.
Thank you.
Poverty.
No, finish your sentence.
Yeah, no. When we definitely, especially with the homies, you know, I don't want to speak too much on women's situations because I don't want to come from a biased point of view. But with the homies, it's like when the homies start abusing those substances, all of a sudden they want to be high more often, deeper highs. They definitely gotta get drunk just to socialize, and they become, part of my language when saying this, like women, uh, in the sense of complaining.
Okay.
Niggas that complain with no bread, and they always gotta be on a substance. That's depression for
All
sure.
right. So thank you. Now, very interesting answers. Let's listen to Dr. Joy DeGree first explain or to describe what depression looks like in the European male. And it's going to be very interesting to see what she says in contrast to what the answers were in the panel, besides the isolation. But let's listen.
Sad. They're sad. They lost of appetite. Withdrawn. People.
That's the isolation. So that's one that I did hear. But sad, loss of appetite. Not one of these brothers said that. Let's keep listening.
Start giving stuff away, right? They do all that kind of stuff. They get teary. They sleep.
Definitely didn't hear anything about teary. So let's keep listening.
People are, well, okay, you got all the symptoms. That's a depressed person. They come into therapy. You got to work with them, right? You got to try to help them. That's interesting because we try to help that person because we want them to want to do what? To live. We want them to want to live. And there are all of these therapies around it. So now you got a person that's homicidal. He comes into therapy. Now, why would a person be homicidal? They look at him and they go, well, they're antisocial.
Now, remember, she's talking about the black male, which is our brothers here on the panel and our children and our uncles and fathers, right? So this is the depression. This is how depression manifests itself in the black male, which is very interesting. Let's keep listening.
Personality, you know, people have behavior, they act out, compulsive behavior, they're eventually labeled a sociopath. Guess what? You can't cure a sociopath. They ain't curable. So what can you do with them? You lock them up. It's real simple. You know, the prison is a system that's working. It's a growing, booming business, and we got the folks we need to put in there. Because they're sociopaths. You can't cure them, you can't fix them, so you just put them in an institution. And the moment they go into therapy, they get with the white therapist, they go, he's a homicide. Okay, gotta go. Straight to the institution. Whereas other youth who have the other behaviors, they don't have to go to institutions. They first go to treatment facilities where everybody try to help them. But the black one with the same symptomology goes to a corrective institution. Got the statistics on it.
So the self-destruction manifests itself in a different way in our people. It's homicide, drug use, which is when I said it doesn't, that's not what you see in the European. Let's keep listening. I just want you to hear the rest of what she says, because this is so poignant and so on point about how our men deal with depression, and not just the men, the women too, but especially the men, because what Spider said, like, you women can't understand, and I get it. You can't be a punk, right? Let's keep listening. You can't be sitting where someone crying. You saying you don't have anything. Remember what our brother just said on the panel 5? He said, oh, they be complaining. And see, you can't do that. So let's listen. So this is awesome panel. Let's listen to the doctor a little bit more.
Carl Bell looked at it and said, this is what they do to these children. And now, I want you to look real closely at this, and I'm going to use your example. An example that I actually used it before I even been to Brooklyn. I never was in Brooklyn. But since I've been in Brooklyn, it has a whole lot more meaning to me when I use this example. What do you call an African-American male, 22, 25, decides to go to a bar frequented by off-duty police officers, takes with him his gun, and starts a brawl? What do you call that? I call that suicide. That's what I call that, suicide. But it doesn't look like sad, teary,
come on,
weepy, can't sleep.
Yes.
Write the note and blow my brains out.
See, it looks more like, I don't play. I ain't scared. I'm standing my ground. Look, I'm a man. That's what it looks like. Let's keep listening a little bit more.
It doesn't look like that. Because you see, we have something called invited suicide.
Come on, doctor. Hold on.
You're still purchasing your lenses from your optometrist?
What are you doing? Come on.
I'm going to invite
voluntary
it
suicide, right?
because you see,
You want to say something?
Now I was thinking that's voluntary suicide that they're saying, right? Invited
Um,
suicide, same thing as
not
voluntary
exactly
suicide.
voluntary, but you know, I know she's saying it, but let's try to like keep it at a minimum. But it's not your fault. I'm just saying for everybody, we could say unaliving self. It's like unaliving by Cobb coming out like he stepped on my shoes. If I don't do it, he's gonna think I'm a PUNK. So that is the same. Even though people don't see, our men don't. That's a part of the culture. We don't see it as that. We see it as I'm gonna stand my ground. There's other options to live another day, especially when we know someone will unalive you just for looking at you the wrong way.
Oh, Sister
So,
Nepal, we also gotta say unalive by a nigga, like, cause sometimes niggas
oh yeah,
need to know. Niggas need
oh,
to know, like, you tripping, bro.
oh
Like, you don't
five.
got no win in this situation. Like, you just
Five,
trying to
keep
die.
listening. Listen, my brother. Five, keep listening to the story that she's about to tell. You're absolutely right. So let's listen.
Okay.
But is it any different than us saying, again, I'm not a man, but from what the doctor says, what I see, and how it's just senseless cycle when nobody just says, I just am gonna walk away. Is it no different than what she's saying? Even though you might not think you're depressed, you might not think that you're trying to unalive yourself. Why are you choosing to go down a precarious route that very well might end in your life being taken or you locked up?
Nah,
Carried.
but
I'd rather be
two,
judged by 12. Just a second. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. What's the real difference besides the same thing as self-destruction? I'm going to get your input. I promise. I just want you to hear the rest of what she says. And then I'm going to let you all have the mic. I promise.
I can't go out like a punk. I got to go out large. I'm going out large because I ain't going out like a punk. I ain't going to be in the back room somewhere whining and crying and pulling a trick. I'm not going to do that. It's not culturally acceptable. But you know what? I'm depressed. It's called an active depression.
Yeah, go into that.
Okay, it's an active depression, which means it doesn't look like the depression that's in the DSM. So now when I come in, tell me how different you're going to treat me if you think my diagnosis is depression versus sociopath.
You see this? I'm going to let you talk. You see the cycle, though, even in this? It's not weak to say I'm depressed. If anybody should be depressed, the black man should be depressed. All the crap and the black people, but the man first. So our society has made it like, well, you weak to be a depressed person. You can't handle this. You can't handle that. I mean, we hear the brother Spider. We hear his frustration. He can't even just go out and enjoy his day. He has to have nigga bots in his face trying to threaten his life. That right there can just make you go crazy, meaning you could be so down and just you get into a state of just hopelessness. It's not like you're weak, holding a pillow, thinking, I don't want to go outside anymore. It's a different type of it's a different type of reaction, but it's the same thing. And I'm saying this because the way the brothers react to it is something we've been taught culturally. Take that whipping from Massa. So what, he was with your wife, suck it up. You know, just keep moving. Don't show your weakness. Don't show your pain. So I want you brothers to weigh in, and then we're gonna get to the story that's gonna really, it's gonna, for me, it breaks my heart, but I'm sure you brothers gonna be moved by it. But let me get to, because I did mention Spider, if he's here. I'm going to start with Spider, and then I'll go up to V Brew because I know he wanted to say something. Spider, so far, what do you think about what the doctor is saying, whether right or wrong, agree with it or not? What is your take on this, if you're there? And I appreciate you being here, by the way, sharing, because it really lets us see, you know, all the different sides of all the different situations and all the different input from different Black men. And the climate of violence and depression. Go ahead, Spider.
I believe that the young man was suicidal. Yes. What the doctor says, because if you the wrong visual, I'm not a little dude, so it's like when you approach a certain individual, you're going to get what's coming to you. You know, So maybe the young cat probably was suicidal, wanting to die, or trying to have a conversation with me. So maybe what the doctor is saying is true. Yes, I agree.
Okay, thank you, Spider. We love your input, brother. You're boarding a lot on some things, so maybe if you could keep your camera off, I think it'll be better actually for your audio. So thank you so much. I'm going to go to V Brew and then to the other brothers. V Brew, what do you think about so far what Dr. Joy Degree is saying about the culture?
So in certain situations, right, there is like what she's saying with like, I'm not going to be no punk, that type of thing. I'm going to fight, you know, that type of thing. That can be a sign of depression, a sign of suicide. I can see that, like the person just dealing with some type of self-hate, right? You know, I can see that, right? But I also see to the point where if a person, you know, is saying, you know what, I feel threatened, right? And I'm going to defend myself as something different, right? There's a difference between, you know, being acting emotional and understand the situation you're in, and like, you know what? This is the real, and I assess this as a real situation, and I need to act to the situation because my life is in danger.
And you know, this is the thing I'm not saying, and I want to make that clear. Dr. Joy Degree isn't either. We're not saying just lay down and just let somebody just take advantage of you and harm you. It's
right.
Now this is where the wisdom is so crucial. The wisdom that men and of course women, but that men will use first to say, okay, is this, even though this dude stepped on my sneaker and he did on purpose, it's not always going to be somebody. Let me take that lie back. It will a lot of times be somebody trying to take your life or harm you. However, is there an option to not engage and to come out on top? And then another thing,
like,
we definitely don't call the police on each other. So there's so much, when we talk about the construct of how we are in our culture, it's all pointing to like, just destroy yourself, self-destruct. So Vibra, say what you need to say, and then I'm gonna move on to due diligence so he can get the mic, and then we'll end with 5 and go back to listen to the video.
See, okay, so one, right? Every time you say self-destruction, and I couldn't think of the name, Karis, one song, that's thing I was thinking about, self-destruction. The other part was that it sounds to me, when she's talking to me, sounds like something of a very young mind, right? Because, I mean, at 51 years old, when I step to my sneakers, I'm not going to care about stepping on my sneakers.
Right.
Right? You know, right. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? You know, you come into my home, right? If I perceive you as a threat inside of my home, then I'm going to defend my home immediately, right? But if I see that you're a young kid sneaking in, stealing stuff, all I gotta do is say, hey, and you're probably gonna run. You know what I mean? So it's all about having the wisdom and understanding of what is necessary if it's a real threat. You know?
Yes, and thank you for that. Thank you, Vibru. Yes, age wisdom comes with age and experience. Due diligence, go ahead, and then we'll move on to 5 and finish up the last part of the video.
I mean, I have to agree with what the doctor is saying, and it's very deep. And I think Black men in particular have the tendency to overcompensate also. I don't know what that is, but there is an aspect of overcompensation, man. There's like a super aggressive, you know, male and woman. But and then also I want to say that you touched on something whenever you said hopelessness. And it makes me think about how I was as a young man, right? Whenever I felt hopeless, whenever I felt like I didn't have a place in this world, whenever I didn't have good role models, whenever I didn't see myself in the workforce. I didn't see myself having a place in the workforce. Whenever I was thinking that sports were what Black people was doing, like I idolized getting into the NFL or being an NBA player, and I didn't see myself as a doctor, a lawyer, or no type of profession, right? And it made me where I wanted to rebel, but I didn't know at the time. But it made me to where, you know, I get involved in gangs, get involved in drugs, get involved in just nefarious activities. But what I didn't know is that I was depressed because I felt like I didn't have a place in society. You know what I'm saying? And that was really depressing. And I didn't know it at the time. And like even to this day, I'm 42 years old and I still feel that way sometimes, right? That hopelessness that I won't ever reach the standard that I put on myself, or maybe even a standard that my family puts on me, my mom puts on me. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think we do act out in these different ways because of depression, but we might not identify it as depression.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the other brothers adding their input. Finally, 5, I'm going to let you go ahead and give us your take on what Dr. Joy Degree has shared so far, and then I'll go and show the rest of the video. 5, are you there? Okay, I think 5, he was showing us a book earlier, so I don't know if he went and if he can't hear us, he can come back later. Come back in later. Let's hear the rest of what she has to say.
It's depression versus antisocial. That's not what you're looking at. It's not a homicidal person. It's a suicidal person. Case in point, in my community, we have what is called a Portland House of Emoji. I work with Emoji for a number of years. It's a residential program for kids who are gang involved, whatever, gang affiliated, want to be a gang, all of that, whatever it is. Because I always wonder how they can even say gang affiliated, gang associated. Your brother is in a gang. Does that mean you're gang associated, gang affiliated? What does that mean? That's my brother. You know, they don't even know what, we got to put him in some kind of label. I said, well, he lives with him. What are you going to do? You think when people want to hurt him, he's going to ignore it because he doesn't want to be in the gang? You know, he's going to help his brother. So, you know, they don't know because they always got to put people in a box because you got to do what to them? Measure them. Right. So they didn't know where to put them. We call that family. I don't know. So now we have this active depression. So now we're misdiagnosing the whole thing. These 2 brothers that I know that run the House of Moja, they're 2 identical twins. They've served time in prison. They're both in recovery. Both of their names is Johnny. They're not identical twins. Both of them named Johnny. Go figure. I don't know. Daddy must have liked the name. So what happens with them is they both run that Portland House of Emoji. So they decided just so you could just differentiate.
Well, just to give it to stop it for YouTube use, she's talking about 2 gentlemen, 2 men, 2 brothers who run a house for brothers who are, you know, dealing with the situations that are often dealt with young Black males.
The one's called Biggie. They call one Biggie. Biggie and Scotchy. That's how you do it. So now Biggie is in front of one of the local Black high schools. And there's a fight that breaks out. And these 2 young brothers.
This is high school. Remember we talked about watching the fights? This is at a high school.
They're out in front of the school. One is 19, one is 16.
I went from irregular eating, fatigue, and the gym 6 times a week to healthy eating habits, productive days. And
the one that's 19 has pulled the gun on the one that's 16. You know, the crowd thins out. Johnny's there going, look, you know, he is preaching. Look, you know, brothers, we don't want to do this. You don't want to do this.
So the guy who's running the halfway house, he's now wiser, like what we heard V. Brew and the other brothers say. He's wiser. He say, no, you don't want to do this, to the 19-year-old who has pulled out the weapon on the 16-year-old to unalive the 16-year-old. So let's listen.
Can't keep killing, you know, he's going through the whole thing and I ain't even looking at him. Guy hits the gun, points it, pulls the trigger, and it jam. The gun jam, which is, in my sense, the time to run from the heavens and saying, go run. We spared you, right?
Remember what Spider said about the women? She said, and it's not just women. Obviously, there are men who want to live, who think the same way. But as a Black male, it's beyond the logic of running because the culture says if you run and even if you live, what's it going to be where everybody says, yeah, you ran like a punk, you ran, even though he was in the face of death. Let's keep listening.
The kid stands there, throws his hands back like this, right? Just stands there. So the guy gets the gun again, pulls the trigger, and it jams the second time. Guy starts laughing, kind of chuckling. The 16-year-old's chuckling. Hits it again. This actually goes on. Third time, it jams. He says, listen, brother, you think I'm afraid to die? 16 years old. I'm not afraid to die, brother. I'm afraid to live, is what he said to him. He hit it the fourth time, and it went off. And what I understand about that is I have to get into the psyche of a 16-year-old boy and say, why is it, how could it be that at 16 he no longer wants to live? He can't see a place in the world for himself. And I'll tell you why. Because we're a man-object-oriented system, which says that you are what you are based on what you have. You are measured by your things. That's why you have brothers walking around, don't have a home, don't have a car, but got 50 gold chains.
Now, see, right here, this is how the woman works in her destructive way, the so-called violence with the mouth. She'll tell him, you ain't got nothing. You are no good, N-word. You don't got nothing. I'll kick you out. You got to be up under me. I'll take care of you. All you got is them damn chains, and I paid for them. So you see how it is different. And when I heard the brother too, I think it was Due Diligence, he said something about like, I never thought of being a doctor. It starts right there. And then these brothers, like when Spider said, yeah, he had a DEATH wish. But even when you say, I know somebody has a DEATH wish, I know somebody wants to just have me, KILL them, unalive them. So obviously they're going to unalive me with no problem. Even when you stand and face that person, I'm asking, aren't you also, in a way, falling into the self-destruction, even though you may think, no, I don't want to be unalive. But when you know these people are like this, aren't you making the choice to engage instead of run away or walk away or just never go around this place? And I know it's hard, but I'm just asking that. I'm gonna get your answers. I just want to play this last bit. It's not much more. Listen.
Because I gotta wear some worth because I don't have any worth.
Right.
So when you begin to look at those things, you say, now you're telling me I gotta measure myself by the thing, and then you tell me I can't have them. You bar every way that I have to get the thing, and you tell me I'm nobody if I don't have it. That's what our society does to Black men. And these young men don't see a way. They can't find a place to be somebody, to maintain a sense of dignity and worth.
And when we hear that, I'm gonna let this go. I'm gonna stop sharing this. When we hear that, I know it's hard because I can't, a lot of these people, these young men are just so evil and destructive. But what do we do as a people? Do we continue to, I'm asking, do you continue to take their lives? Do you continue to say, well, I'm gonna beat his ass because he tried it first? Like,
I think we should.
I'll start
continue.
with 5, and then we'll go around the panel and we'll close.
I apologize. I think
no, you're good. Go.
I think we should continue to take the lives for the simple fact that they also say that we don't make enough babies, we abort as many. So I think if we are of the culture of the warrior class that we want to unconsciously be without consciously, living a rhetoric, because the real warrior class was the class of men that could not get women, could not regularly dominate the society around them, and they had to relegate themselves to joining armies. Like, we have to understand that the whole purpose of armies and gangs is the fact to raise up weaklings to strong people. We don't have, like, humans do not come from everybody being strong and then elevate it from there. No, we had a whole bunch of weaklings that we had to make strong to elevate. So those type of paradigms of you being a weakling joining a strong man's program, and he probably wasn't even the strongest of the strong, teaching you the ways of the strong to get you better than just the average weakling. Now you are above average of the sense of now we can give you teachings of the strong, the wise, the prudent, the disciplined. And now you are, just by that knowledge, you are better than the average person that has none of that. Because we come from the hunter gatherer, the tribal, where all things were not taught. So now we're in the hyper reality of those people. And if our culture, I just want to say our culture, if our culture could understand that we come from a people that everything wasn't known, everything wasn't taught. So even if we think we come from the Egyptians, the Hebrews, the ancient Muslims, like whatever the case may be, all those cultures did not have every situation to deal with. And we have a specific how do you say, a specific subject to transfers to our lineage, to our legacy, of the fact that we don't, or we do, or we don't have a way to deal with the ultimate reality of social engineering. Our people do not know that there is a massive wave of controlling the populace by giving sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. But long story short, what I want to say is that we have to understand that as a culture, we do have to fight for our reality, fight for our understanding, fight for our education, elevate ourselves. We don't have to live in the base reality, the base alchemy. We don't have to always be just iron sharpens iron. We can be the hand that sharpens the iron, that sharpens the iron. We can be the mind that grabs the book to elevate the masses. And we can excel outside of just being physical, because the whole reality starts in the mind. You don't wake up and think, or you don't wake up and not think to get out of the bed. The first thing you think is what time it is, let me get out the bed. What the sun is, let me get out the bed. We have to be thinkers. We have to be aware. We have to be excelling in the fact that we outthink our own paradigm. We have to continuously build, transform, and expand. We have to think in terms of science more than spirituality, for the simple fact that you can only get more spirituality the more scientific you get with your spirituality. Peace. I apologize.
Thank you, Five. You're fine. Thank you. A lot of people are agreeing with you. I'm going to go to Vbrew, and then we will close out with Spider. So we'll go Vbrew, due diligence, and let Spider close out. And then this for me was a good panel. We didn't have a lot of people in here, but let me hear from you, Vbrew.
Okay, so question. I need you to repeat your question again for me so I can make sure I understand what you were asking.
You know.
That was
And you
my fault. I
forgot.
apologize.
That brother went into some other stuff that was having me. No, really, to be honest, though, he was saying some good stuff, but it was like it kind of, even though it did go off, it takes us back to our people need to read. We need brothers that are doing this, what you brothers need to get together and do. I don't know. The youth is so that was basically, just let me hear your input, because I'm going to close out, but I'd like to hear from you about the whole bill.
So what I got from the lady, I noticed that when she was speaking, what was her name? Dr.
Joy Degree. It's spelled
Dr. Joy. Dr. Joy. Right. Dr. Joy Degree.
Mm-hmm.
What I noticed from her is that she said that the brother was in a gang, right?
Yes.
And The other brother was considered a gang affiliated because his brother was in the gang, right? So
Not so
what?
much. No, they just work with gang youth.
Okay, but I thought she mentioned something about
The twins, she
but,
gave a little bit more information. The twins are just men, like they're older now, like your age, and they said we're going to make a house where we can bring the youth in and help the youth. The two teenagers were at the high school that they go and counsel and mentor at.
okay. Okay. So what came to my mind, right, was that when it comes to us as black men, right, is that we're being criminalized. Everything that we do, right, can be made where some things are self-defense, right? The system has a thing where it wants to criminalize and make what is defensive into a crime, right? Even when you look at now, I don't agree with selling drugs like that and stuff, right? But most people who are selling drugs, they're selling drugs to put food on the table, right? I don't agree with violence, unnecessary violence. I don't agree with, right? But I would say that this person, in many cases, right, is trying to defend itself. Now, this situation, people are just young and they're not thinking and they're just behaving a certain way, right? And in that case, right, what's missing is what we need is that family structure, right? Everything starts from home. I believe when you start something, you start from the structure outside the home. Then what's inside the home will carry out into the community and into the nation, right? But because we have a broken family structure, right, it spews out into the community. So men are trying to be men based on what they think a man is supposed to be.
Yes, that's great. That's true. That's absolutely true. And so I will hand the mic over. I want to stay on this point. Hand the mic over to due diligence. I'd like to have your final input on this whole build and what Dr. Joy Degree presented, please.
I from the point that you brought up to the doctor, I think everything that the doctor said was really valid, and it was refreshing to hear. I think she hit it on the nail, and I think, like you said, in principle, it's the same thing with what a lot of us up here on the panel is talking about. In principle, the same thing. These negative aspects of us manifest in different ways, and the cause of them are different things, right? Not all of the things are depression, but a lot of it can be. And I do think that black people in general have a negative, not a negative, but an aggressive disposition. But like we agreed on, I don't believe that it's inherent. I don't think that it's in our nature. And I do think we need to get a hold of that, and that's myself included. Like I said, it took me a long time to get over that. When I heard people like Spiderface speak, man, like I kind of, it speaks to my heart because I was just like him. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't think that he's necessarily wrong, but I just want him to be able to, like not take everything so serious. And I'm not saying that situation wasn't right. In that situation, he had to do what he had to do, but just his ideology that, he was saying that, the men up here, they know that you can't let certain things go. And I thought that too. But nowadays I'm 42 and I let a lot of things go. You know what I'm saying? A lot that I would never in my 20s. And I thought that was being a man, and I want all my brothers to know that. Like, and like I said, like I was over my cousin's house today and I was hanging out with guys younger than me, and these guys pistols, drinking, smoking, and I have to like, you know, I don't want to feel how I feel around my own people like that, because you don't never know. Because if we all have these hair triggers, you know what I'm saying? If we all super aggressive, then something is just bound to happen. You know, you step on somebody's toes, you look at somebody too long, like it that's not cool. So I say all that to say is, you know, to piggyback off the brother, what the brother said, it does start with the family first. And like the other brother said, I do think there's some aspects of social engineering. What we have to do as a collective is, just like Nepal said, have these conversations and bring it to the foresight. I appreciate you for letting me up, Nepal. It was a great show.
I appreciate all of you, brothers.
Can I say one more thing, sister? I apologize.
And I was thinking of you guys. We're gonna end with Spider, but I thought of you because you also said you were ready to get it cracking over somebody saying your mama over the dozen.
I was weak. I ain't gonna lie. I was a weakling. But I knew how to fight physically, but I was definitely a weakling mentally. Like I could not get over being the butt of the joke. I could not be the one that let it go. Like, yo, bro, like he just got you this time. Like I had to win. I had the ultimate reality of being number one. Like I don't know where I learned that from. I don't know if it came
It's a
from
part of our
spelling
culture.
bees. It does come from our culture, and it took me a long time to let it go. It took me a long time to really, and I don't say this like trying to be like, you know, for the camera and being a punk, but it took me a long time to be one of those guys where I can cheer for my homies. I can cheer for other black men. I can like be proud that they succeeded, that had nothing to do with me, outside of me. Like I come from a culture where as though we say don't man private part eat. Like we say that a lot. Like, bro, like damn, you one of those, like you feminine now, like you
say it again.
Okay.
Man's pride what?
A dick eater.
Oh, okay. Let me real quick. Hold on. You made me think of something. Okay, so everybody's always, not everybody, but a lot of people hear me talk about my culture and my background. My mother's mother was Native American, and my grandfather, her father, he was actually a descendant of slaves. Like but he was half white and half black, but he was black. Back then, 1800s, you were a slave. That's how old my grandfather was. Anyway, so when I say 1800s, but he lived into the 1900s. I'm going to tell you a story real quickly. He was playing cards at somebody's house, a guy, they're all men. And every time they played, they would cook, the man would cook and feed possum. They ate possum back then. And my grandfather said, I don't want any possum. I don't eat that. So every time he came over, they were like, oh, he thinks he's too good to eat possum, the guys. So the one guy that always cooked the possum that my grandfather always went over, he told everybody, watch what I do to him this time. He cooked possum and told him, oh, it's chicken. I made chicken this time. And my grandfather ate the possum thinking it's chicken. So everybody's like, he made a fool out of my grandfather. You get it? And when he told him, oh, how'd you like that possum? And my grandfather said, I don't eat possum. That was chicken. He said, no, it wasn't. It was possum. You thought it was chicken. My grandfather went home, got his pew, came back in front of everybody and unalived that guy.
That's real.
To redeem himself. Get it? Because it was just, you know what I'm saying? It was
I grew up in a Muslim family.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Real. That's
you
real.
Get it? The man, like that's my manhood. That's my he's not gonna make me look bad. I'm not gonna
norm.
And guess what? Back then, guess what? And nobody went to jail either. Back then it was just like, oh well, and that's how it was. But go ahead, somebody was talking.
These standards that we have as a culture is obviously the culture overrules law. The law is why we standardize culture, and we have to always remember that our culture is what makes right or wrong, because we come from obviously, whether you believe in God or you believe in evolution, we come from a lawless land where collective has determined what's best for the group, but at the same time the individuals that control the collective has determined what is best for the mob for eternity. And this is the eternal battle. The eternal battle is, if you want to be the one that go against the mob, have at it. The mob will always win, whether you convince the mob to change to your ways or not. The mob is what survives, and we cannot always dictate that you will be the one to change the mob. So we have to always be vigilant in our individual aspects of this reality to understand that, bro, regardless, if you are the smartest man in the room, this is why they say get into another room that you are not the smartest man in the room, because the mob truly always wins. The house always wins. And if you don't have the mindset of being a participant in the framework of how the house always wins, you will always be risking what is essentially your life against the house, who always wins. So the one thing that I understand coming from the hood, North Philly, 1988, I ain't been on this earth a long time, but I understand this one thing. Winners only care about winning. Losers only care about what winners think. So you have to put yourself in the mindset of a winner, and the true winner is the house. Now, yes, we come from a slave plantation, a paradigm where our mentality is from another culture's upbringing against our demise, but at the same time, the house always wins. So what would you do? I'm going to
Thank
play
you.
like how the house plays.
That's good. That's very wise advice. I like that, actually. I get what you're saying. Remove yourself from those who think, you know, it's like the wild, like my grandfather, like the Wild West or the old days. Like, kill or be killed. Take yourself to a higher level. So thank you so much, Five. Finally, we're going to end with the brother Spider's input. I appreciate, once again, I'll say I appreciate you brothers coming in. I appreciate you very much. Five, due diligence, V Brew. Don't be strangers to the panel. Spider, of course. And the chat, I see you out there, Asiatic 777. Hit the panel. Peace to my sister H. Millette. I see you out there, Herb Wise. Get the truth. Everybody, if I didn't say your name, I love you and I see you. Sonetter's calling me right on time. I was getting ready to say, close it out, baby. So go ahead, Spider. You have your free reign in the final word. And I want to hear from you. Definitely.
I don't believe this has to do with a black thing or white thing or Chinese thing or.
I got to stop you. Turn your camera off because you're boring and we want to hear everything you say, and I think it'll be better. Let's hear you now.
I don't think this has anything to do with a black thing, a white thing, or any other type of thing dealing with race. It's about respect. If a young man would have been Chinese yesterday and walk up on me and I'm a complete stranger talking about what he'll do to me and all the rest of this, I would have handled the situation the exact same way. If it would have been a Mexican that would have walked up on me talking this, that, and the third, I would have handled the situation the same way. It could have been an alien from outer space walking up on me, and I would have handled the situation the exact same way. Anybody that goes around threatening complete strangers' lives will get dealt with. And unfortunately, what the sister in the video said, he probably was suicidal. You understand? But I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning just to work out. Just so happen, even at 54 years old, to whoop a nigga ass if I have to. And I'ma stand on that. And it's a lot of people that won't even do that. I have a concealed weapons permit. I could just end a nigga life if I feel like my life is threatened. I chose not to. But that's is what we're dealing with. So for the men, they understand what I mean. Because as men, we don't go around disrespecting each other. We treat each other with the highest, at least for myself, I treat everyone with the highest amount of respect. And for those individuals who I don't respect, I just don't even be around them at all because I can afford not to be around them. So when I talk about violence, I feel like violence is a form of sign language, like for the deaf. It's a form of language that only the belligerent and ignorant people can understand. Violence is necessary, and violence is a part of our culture. And I end with that.
I love how you said that, and maybe we need to have another build where I'm not going to leave without saying yes, we need men to protect the vulnerable and protect themselves. I have no problem with the brothers coming in and busting the piñata of some guy who's trying to torment or harm him, the guy or the people in the place. I think that's great. So I think we need to do a part 2 on this and talk more about that, because where's the line? Where, you know, what's the gray area? What's the black? What's the white? So we appreciate brothers who stand up for those who can't do it. But I think, you know, it's a obviously this isn't gonna just be cleared up and we're gonna get everything right on this one stream. But I would love to have you come back, Spider, stand your ground on that. We give more scenarios. When do we have to walk away? And do we give up the community to the people who are doing the suicidal, homicidal stuff? You know what I mean? Like, it's really rough, but I absolutely appreciate your input. I'm glad you're here to talk about it because you know, it sounds like a very dangerous, serious situation, and you came out alive and able to tell the story. So I appreciate that. Everyone stay safe out here. Until next time, I don't know if you guys are getting notifications, but yeah, we're gonna try to do a part 2 to this. And I think next time Sonetta will be involved. It was a little late for him. But I appreciate you, brothers. And that's all I have to say to you. If you have anything else to say, I'm going to go ahead and end it out. Peace to everybody. Vibra, you look like you want to say something.
No, you know what? You're my reader, yo. But I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Go ahead. Good. Say it, then I'm going to end it. Go ahead, brother. You can say something.
No, I was listening to your history of your indigenous history and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Family
you're the Turtle Island.
Opposite where on my where
are you Native American?
Yeah, because my father's side. Well, I say descendant because where we're from, we don't ignore any of the history. We accept all of it.
Yeah.
So we say we're Native American descent, even though right now I'm part of the Montauk Nation,
okay,
of North Amityville, Long Island, and we're actually fighting for our local recognition.
Okay, are you? I don't want to say anything wrong, but is Sister Bethy a part of that? Oh, Sister Bethy, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but is Sister Bethy a part of the Montauk?
I don't know Sister Bethy. I've seen her on the panel before, but I don't know her as far as her being a part of the Montauk.
I think I've heard. Oh wait, I've heard of Montauk because I think Sister Bethy did bring them up. Jabari showed them how they also acknowledge their African heritage as well, right?
That's the Pequot. You're talking about the Pequot. They also acknowledge it as well. But the Montauk,
the Native Americans here are not they look more
but
like Asiatic.
but and I'll say this, but from my side, right? Originally, they were they had that mix. Like you'll see you'll see the Asiatic in there too. So we know that Asiatic mix in there too. You'll see that in us as well. So you'll know that the native that the Asiatic the that look right that's there as well, right? But
Yeah,
they mixed in with different nations.
I hear you.
So it's like so I think the King Philip's War, I think it was, but I could tell you, but I was thinking like this. My last name is Brewster, and if you Google
Wait, did due
Brewster,
diligence equal? Oh yeah, he did. Brewster, yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if the brother closed
yeah,
out. Oh yeah, I
yep,
saw that on your name.
right. So if you if
Turtle Island.
I'm gonna give you some homework. So if you Google Brewster's North Amityville,
Okay. Oh,
we're on the North
not
Amityville. Amityville Horror
Amityville.
Story. Yeah, that's yeah.
Amityville
That was
horror.
that's our yep. That's our area. Yep, that's our area.
Heck.
And you'll see when you as soon as you punch it in, it'll be like the first thing Brewster North Amityville. You'll see in the town of Babylon website. It's going to tell you that we are clusters of people, right? Clusters of Native Americans, Akachung, Montauk, and Shinnecock. And the community just all lived in that community, right? But you can also look up Benton versus Pharaoh, and you'll see my family gravesite where we had that old reddish clay of Indian gravestones and stuff. You can see that there. So we are actually like fighting for our recognition, not because of land, because all that land as far as the Hamptons and stuff, that on Montauk Point,
I like it there.
the Hamptons, that was our land.
Oh shoot, that's
That,
great
that was
property.
yeah. But we're not fighting. My understanding, the chief Robert Farrell, we're not fighting for the land. We're fighting for the respect
Right.
that was and the shame that was placed upon them by saying you're not Native American no more, you're black.
Peace, Mr. Lisa.
That's
Oh
what
yeah.
we're fighting.
Oh yeah. That. But you want to hear something funny? Not funny, but something interesting. How do I say this? Like my mother, I told you about her mother's Native, and then her father is half black and half white from a progeny of the slaves. But she will not claim a drop of black blood. Okay. But me, I know that my mother is Native and her heritage, and my grandmother's Native. But for me, I don't know how to explain it. How can I explain it? Okay, I grew up in the Southwest, so it's different out here how the natives treat you, even if you are Native related, like even if you have the bloodline, if you're not like, if you're not like epicanthal fold, high cheekbone, bone straight hair, knowing all the culture, all the rituals, if you're not immersed in it, if you're not raised on the res, you don't get, like you said, you don't get like, oh yeah, my Native brother and sister. So for me, it was
Right.
better, not better, but first off, I've got to say this right, because my mother is Native and she loves being Native and I love her and I claim it. But Dominican, French Creole, African American, I'm just right there. I'm good. But when it came to like that Native, it was just like, girl, if you don't get away from here, you're not. And they didn't say it like that, but it gave you the vibe like, you don't know what you're
Right.
doing. What are you doing here? But
Yeah.
anyway, I hope I didn't
Yeah.
say
Because I think
anything. because they like to
No,
flip
you
it.
didn't say anything. Yeah, yeah.
But my
You
mom
know,
did teach me a lot about her people, like the sewing and the way the rituals of the food and the praying and the well, she didn't really call it praying, but guess what? She still was in the Bible too. But she would look at the Bible and be like, oh, this is this and the and one more thing she used to say, because she's talking about the Native Americans. She's like, the Native Americans, she say, we're the people of the Bible. You know how they have the Black Hebrew Israelites. So that's what also drew me more too, because I was like, oh, the Dominican, slave Judah, like Black African and Native American. I said, oh, I know I'm a Hebrew Israelite. So anyway, that's just a little background of me. I'm all mixed up. Am I FBA though? Not that I want to be, but like, what do you think about that FBA thing? And then we could close out. Are you FBA?
you know what? I don't like to put myself in group categories like that. I don't say I'm FBA. Because I feel like once you put yourself into a particular group, right, then you're held to a certain standard to follow a certain way, right?
Exactly.
And I like to be able to, one thing I say for myself, right, is I try the best I can to have my own train of thought and to follow some of the history of my ancestors, right? And my ancestors were my father's side. My mother's side, they didn't really know too much as far as their culture was and stuff, but I believe they had a very they had a very hard struggle with culture and stuff, But I would say from my father's side, my father was very much, even though he didn't raise me, my grandmother, his mother did, he was very much involved as far as
Native. What do you call yourself? Indian or Native?
I, to me, people try to mix them up and stuff, but I look at those terms very much like how they did African Americans, right? So when Christopher Columbus came, he said they were native. He said these are Indians because he thought he found India. Later, they tried to change it and say no, these are Native Americans, right? And then the Father Island Indians came along and they said, I'm Native, meaning I was born here, right? And they always try to change it around like that. When now it's indigenous, now it's Aboriginal. They do all these different changes and stuff to us, right? And I don't think either any of them actually give us any respect. I think they actually take away from us, in the sense that they don't access how we define ourselves, right? So if I'm going to define myself, right, I'm gonna say this to you, and because I've been taking my Montauk class, right? So if I'm going to define myself in my Montauk language, I would say to you, Aqua, the poem, Vincent, the Tussawees.
Okay, thank you, Herbwise. You're speaking the language?
Yes, I'm speaking the language.
Okay.
Vincent, the Tussawees. Tayopas, Nacha, Chayawak, Montauk.
What are you saying?
Nacha, I'll tell you, Nacha Bayawak, Okanichiban.
Oh, wait, what'd you say?
Okanichiban.
Okanichiban.
Yeah, Okanichiban.
Like Nichiwa.
Yep, Tusitamawak.
Sounds like some Japanese.
Mebin Nita. So what I said to you was peace or hello, everyone. I'm called Vincent.
Okay, that's nice.
So your part is I say I am of the Turtle Clan. My clan is Turtle Clan, right?
Yes.
My tribe is Montauk. I live in the area of the Okenichi Band. And I'm from North Carolina, Mebane. And I live in North Carolina, Mebane, Mebane.
Mm-hmm.
See? So I identify myself as a Turtle Clan,
Yes, that's
right?
great.
That's my clan. And I want you to watch Vincent vs. Pharaoh. You'll see my last name and my family talking about us. My clan is Turtle Clan. My tribe is Montauk. So we identify by our tribes and our clans, not by our race and by our color.
Okay, you know what though? I want to tell you something. This thing that I keep on seeing, I wanted to mention that to you because there is a story that I know because the turtle, when you say Turtle Clan, I know about, I said Turtle Island, but you never mentioned that. But there's a story that I'm familiar with. I don't know if you are, about the natives. Well, not all natives, but some tribes here. I don't like to talk about my business too much on here because these people,
Right.
child, they're crazy. But I want to show you. I showed it before. I want to show you another family. It's on my my channel. But have you heard about Turtle Island? Is that what you're talking about? The Turtle Island story of the creation story, or no?
I've heard a little bit about that, but my understanding of the Turtle Clan of Turtle Island is pretty much how the United States of America kind of looked like a turtle's back.
Yeah. You want to know something? My child used to say Turtleback Mountain all the time before he even knew anything about his heritage. Like when he was a baby, we would go to this park, and it has a history of the Indian schools. And there was a hill there, and my son would say, "Oh, mommy, I want to run up to up Turtleback Mountain." And so it was very spiritual for me because he didn't know anything about the Indian schools there. And I never told him, "Oh, you know, your grandma is Native American." And he was little, like 2. So I always think about that. Like when he would say that, I was like, how is it that he's saying this? So,
It's innate in
Turtleback.
him.
Yeah, it was wild.
Mhm.
I want to show y'all some of my family. Natives do share many traditions with Asians. Oh, I know that because I'm going to show you I'm not going to say who this is because, again, these people are, well, I think I said it before once. One of them is my aunt. The other one is another family member, but I want to show you something on my channel. It's my family. Let me get it. But so you know about it then. You do know about it. That's awesome because when I saw Turtle Clan, that must be the same thing, right?
So let me say one thing to you, right?
Yes.
So my family lives on Long Island, right?
Oh,
We are
okay.
considered water turtles because we live on the island,
Oh, wow.
right?
The turtle's very
And
significant to natives.
yeah, and there's people who live on the well, I hope he can be from this, but Turtle Gang, right? He
Yeah.
lives
Oh, that's
in
the
the
brother, another
woodland.
brother that Senator's good friends with here. He's on the Turtle
Yeah,
Gang.
yeah, me and him talk, and our family lines connect. That's one thing you'll see too. The
Okay,
family lines connecting.
this is my aunt.
Uh-huh.
But also don't come for me. You know, she'll say, "Oh, she's got," like she never said she's Black, but she identified as Black. Because let me say this about Native Americans too: they have a very, very, very enmeshed culture with with slaves, with African slaves and the progeny of slaves. And I'm not saying some people who were here that were they've had matched our phenotype were natives, but what I take issue with is when a lot of our brothers and sisters in this community will be like, I'm not black, I don't have no African. And they'll say someone like my aunt, they'll say, she's not native. She's a, what did they call her? A Mongoloid and some
Right.
Mongolian. And it's not even that it's stupid, but I'm just saying, like, so this is her. And then I want you to look at another person. Here's another one. So she's native. This is my aunt. And I shouldn't even say it was my aunt, but this, and then what about this one right here? What do you think? Do you
That
have
picture,
people?
I saw that. I saw that. I've been following you and Sanetta. I mean,
I
I
ain't
love
gonna
you
lie, I
guys.
made
I'm
it a
not
little
trying to
darker.
think.
I did make it a little
Yeah.
dark. I'm not gonna.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because I see that, right? I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you, like, this is what I'm gonna show you a picture. If you can see it.
Okay, I can't see it. Let me put you on the big screen. Oh, put it closer. Yeah, I can see that his hair's cut though. But yep, that actually looks like one of my, wait, there's a glare. So that looks like one of my
Yeah, that's it.
uncles. And see, people would say they would call him a Mongolian too. Who's
That's my
that?
father. That's my
Okay,
father.
I believe you.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
does look
That's my
native.
father. And
It's not
that's what that
always
picture reminded me of when I saw that.
It's not always
But I
phenotype, but
got
let's be honest. It
right.
is phenotype a lot of times though.
Right.
Like I just want to see
But
some pictures. If you get up here and you look like a beautiful African person, you could be native, because I don't say that there weren't any people with that phenotype here in the land, because there's Asians who look, if you take an Asian and you just make them albino, they could look like a lot of these Siberians and a lot of these, did I say Asians? I meant to say African.
mhm.
If you take one of the Khoisan people and you take make them very light, you'll think, oh, that's a Chinese person. So it's very, phenotype is,
Yeah.
I can see it, but I don't know why they're so angry. They don't want to share any, like, what's wrong with being, also, what's wrong with your people being here, meaning the people who claim to be Aboriginal or Indian, and the people who look like your dad or my aunt or my other family member? Why can't they just say, okay, they were all here together? Like, why does it have to be one or the other? That's what bothers
Right.
me.
Yeah. Right. But I think,
Yeah.
it goes back to it's two things I think is messing this up, right? It's
Mhm.
going back to
Thank you.
tradition
Asiatic.
and also going to well, let me address tradition, right? So traditionally wise, right? I'm Indian on my father's side of the family, right? Not on my mother's side of the family, right? So based on Indian tradition, right? It's a what's the word for that? It is it's a matrilineal, right? So
Mhm.
you're only Indian if you're on your mother's side of the family.
Right. That's what my
You know what I'm
mom.
saying? You're not Indian on your
Well,
you're not Indian on your father's side.
you can't. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, I don't. According to them, it's not like
Right.
they say you're not. But even though my mom is very native. Dang it! Like with me, you know what? I should immerse myself in it a little more. But you know why I don't? Because so many people that are like me in the community are hateful toward people who look like your dad or like my family. Like they're hateful
Mhm.
toward them. So that's why I don't like really get involved with like I know who I am. I claim it, but not when I'm in these forums. I don't really talk about it too much. I'm starting to talk about it more. You get what I'm saying? But when you said the
Yeah.
matrilineal thing, yes, that's 100%. And chiefs they think that there weren't female chiefs, and there aren't, especially in the Southwest. I think Sister Bethy is a chief, but in the Southwest, there's very many tribes. There's very many chiefs that are women. So anyway, people
Yeah.
going to sleep. Sonnet has been said, get off here. It's nice
All
talking to
right.
you.
All right.
More shows.
Nice talking to you too as
Auntie,
well.
let me see what Asiatic said. Your auntie reminds me of my people in Nepal. Yes, Asiatic. You need to get in here and see. You're like me, Asiatic. We need to talk about it more in the right way. You hear me? What I'm saying? V Brew and Asiatic and Herb. We can't talk about it like, oh, that's a Mongolian, or that's a just crazy talk that's not building. Because the reality is, these people that are of this land, they look like how do you say it? You know how in the continent of Africa, there's all these different looks. Like someone might look like me in on the continent of Africa. Someone looks like you. Someone would look like King Simon. Someone would look like the brother who was just up here, Spider. Then someone would look like our sister H. Millette, all over the land. And so this whole thing about like, if you're not looking, you get what I'm saying? Like, look at this. You're claiming to be Native, and you're right until you start saying, and the people who are accepted as natives, they're not natives. Now you just pushed yourself you pushed yourself into the back where I don't want to hear from you. So if you could come in and people could come in and say, oh yeah, V Brew's dad, I could see how he has, a look like Asian phenotype, but he is of this land and indigenous. I'm also, right, hear me out. They say, I look like Kimbo Slice, and I also am from this land and indigenous. No, I'm being serious, because look at the Olmecs. They have broad nose, the thick lips.
No, I'm just saying you don't look like Kimbo Slice.
No, but I'm saying there could be, if they could come in and say, oh, if the people that are so hateful toward the ones that look Asian, like our family, if they could just change that and be like, hey, I look like this, and you look, and your dad looks that way, your aunt looks like that way, your mom looks that way, Napa. Those are all still the same people. Am I making sense? Like, if they were in the land, they were in the land. There could have been some in the land that looked like your dad, my aunt, my mom, my grandmother, and then there could have been some that looked like the Olmecs look.
Right. And I don't think that was ever an issue until the Europeans came trying to take the land. I think we emerged and got along together, as far as we didn't really see that, as far as,
I believe that too. When I say Mongolian, I'm just saying it like they think it's negative, Asiatic. I'm like, what's wrong with Mongolians? God dang.
Right.
Dude. So anyway, what's wrong with anybody? Even, well, hold on now. Let me take that back. Because we have a group of people, and you can't just look at phenotype, but there is a phenotype that's typical. We have a group of people that's working to just get rid of all the rest of us and to so-called breed a pure race of them. And in that breeding, there's a lot of inbreeding, and that's what's causing them to be like, ew. I'm ending it with some, put on your tinfoil hats, everyone. Anyway, we'll talk about that later on. It's late. I'm so glad that you guys all stayed with us. With peace and love. I love you, H. Millette. Thank you, Asiatic. Thank you, brother. We come back for the next build. Ooh, he left. Come back for the next build. Thank you, everybody. And peace to the darkest minds of the light. We will talk some more soon. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. Peace and love, Herbwise. Thank you for the kind words. And enjoy your weekend. Peace. Oh, you know what? I almost ended it. Let me play a little music for y'all, because I know you love the music. Especially shout out to Afro Nation, Revelation, and the HOK family. I already said that.
Frankie on the trendsetter. You did it again, man. HOK Field Marshal, you know? Afro Nation. None of them can but dance on the top. Revelation, take the top. Violate the general. Head up in a blood clot funeral home. Anchor the
like the video, thumb up the video.
how click the link if your scholarship sloppy. More just want make you cry with the truth. No lie, my youth him a really scored and 21 gun salute for commission. Not a brother, a hustle, a move like all left found the black woman not all like Tulsa and they yana pass sister freedom. I don't hold panel, no what time for Bible thumping the minute them see me come. Reviation set, Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother than Sonetta. None of them can bother than Sonetta. Them got a podcast but saw better.
Coast to coast, we be banging. Bringing all this knowledge, we be slanging. In the HOK, we don't do no entertaining.
Speaking truth, speaking facts.
What the niggas just a layman. Better get on one accord. The future can be yours. Ancestors push you more. We gotta go explore the sciences and math. The future's based on class. You bout to catch my wrath. We turning up this track.
In the dark minds of the light.
The dark heart still fight. We gotta make this right. Talk right now. We learn how to stand up and stand proud. No man down. We fam now. House of the conscious, my clan now.
Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother than Sonetta. None of them can bother than Sonetta. Them got a podcast but saw better.
When I look at you niggas, I see what I'm not. Go take him, a little bit of her, mix it with them, I put them in a pot. You still can't get none like me. It might sound the same, but it's unlikely. One white tee, if I lift it up, you niggas gonna see what it come might be. I thought I told ya. Affirmation, revelation, we some soldiers. Sonetta put this team together, now it's over. We got the weight of the world up on my shoulder. When you get conscious information, hearts turn colder. Now look at these trappers who rapping the same, so stuck in their lane, systemically, chemically. I'm thinking something is wrong with their brain. As long as they paid and flowing the chain, I got nothing to say. They in love with the gang. I traded my gang for change, and now that I changed, a few things still say the same.
Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother than Sonetta. None of them can bother than Sonetta. Them got a podcast but saw better.